1551. CrowdTangle has been shuttered by Facebook and Instagram parent Meta.
It was a tool widely used by researchers, watchdog organizations, and journalists to monitor social media posts, notably to track how misinformation spreads on its platforms. The shutdown was protested by researchers and nonprofits. Dozens of groups, including the Center for Democracy and Technology, the Digital Forensic Research Lab at the Atlantic Council, and Human Rights Watch, sent a letter to the company asking that it keep CrowdTangle running through at least January so it would be available through the U.S. presidential elections. Jeremy House reporting.
NATO member Poland paying tribute to its historic victory over the Red Army by honoring fallen Poles and showing off the modern armed forces that it hopes will deter the threat it sees in modern-day Russia. Some of Poland's new weapons replace Soviet and Russian-made equipment sent to neighboring Ukraine after Russia invaded Ukraine. Townhall.com. A memorial service in Tokyo marking the anniversary of Japan's World War II defeat.
Japan's Prime Minister has vowed to step up his country's efforts to defend a rules-based international order in a peace pledge made on the 79th anniversary of Japan's defeat in World War II. At a solemn ceremony at Tokyo's Budokan Hall, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said, "We must never again repeat the devastation of war." He said Japan will stick to the country's post-war pacifist resolve, whilst endeavouring to resolve difficult global issues. Kishida accelerated Japan's military build-up and spending as the country further deepens military cooperation with the US. I'm Karen Shamas.
Satellite images show that a Ukrainian drone attack on Russian air bases has damaged at least 2 hangars. Lightning's daring raid into the Kursk region of Russia is now into its second week. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tabloid said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy, almost Friday.
Ah,
It's
yes.
Thursday.
One step closer to the edge.
I ain't gonna lie, for a half a minute I thought it was Friday.
Yeah.
Ooh, and then I was like, oh.
I know, that's a real roller coaster of emotions first thing in the morning. Hey! Oh.
Yeah, I just, in my head, I advanced a day and I was like, it's Thursday. So, happy Thursday, everybody. If you look, yeah, that's right. It's all, we're on the downhill, man. Weekends tomorrow. You already got plans. I decided.
Just pretty much described the rest of my life. It's just all downhill from here. Thanks, Don.
Well, Loverboy is on to that. Something about working for the weekend.
That's right.
But happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Going to be a scorcher today.
Yeah.
We're in the 1-0s now.
Have we officially reached the 104 that we've been chasing all week?
I think our delaying of the 1-0 has finally occurred. As today, they're talking 1-4. All orange. By the way, remember talking about when you look at the little pictures the National Weather Service gives you? Orange.
As soon as it turns to triple digits, the sky becomes orange, much like fire.
Yes.
Which is what it feels like on your skin.
Like, I'm not trying to be a bad news bear here, but I'm going to be.
Walter Matthau.
104 today, 105 tomorrow, 103 Saturday, 101 Sunday, 102 Monday, 105 Tuesday, 105 Wednesday of next week.
This is those dog days
That's
they
what
were
we're
talking about. The dog days of summer, that's this.
The dog days of fall here
It's actually,
in southeast New Mexico.
No, you get this. Fall's not until September 22nd.
I know, but
That's
kids are in school.
disgusting.
The kids are in school, so tell Mother Nature to fix her calendar.
Right.
So that's all I'm saying.
As long as we... I actually looked
Someone
this...
to tell her the calendar we moved up this year.
I looked this up to figure out why we call it this. So because we are now in the month of August, late August, early September, we're under the dog star Sirius, which is why they call these the dog days of summer.
Nice. Sounds good to me.
We're in the house of Sirius, as they say.
You sure Snoop Dogg's not involved?
I'm
He's
pretty
involved
sure
in everything else.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that now Flavor Flav funded it, but beyond that, there's no involvement.
Good. Okay. Just checking. I saw, speaking of Flavor Flav, which we learned Flavor
Flav.
That's
yes.
the official name of him. No Flavor.
From the official account of Flavor Flav.
That is official. I heard that I guess he's going to get a bronze clock made for that gymnast.
Nice.
Because he knows where his clock's, wearing his clocks, but he's going to get a bronze one made up and given to the Olympian with the bronze medal. Did she get it back?
I think, well, they're still appealing.
Are they still fighting that one? Yeah, okay.
I think that when you give somebody, unless they're retiring, if you give somebody a timepiece, it's kind of like saying you need to start showing
That's
up
right.
on time for things.
Time to hit the bricks, kid. Yeah.
Maybe if you showed up on time for practices,
Well, it is a bronze.
you do
bronze
better than a
clock.
bronze.
Maybe you got a couple years till you get the silver and
Right.
gold clocks.
Gotta
Then
work
they're
your way
officially
up.
like, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. You're out. But,
Do you know that every one of those the medals that the Olympians received had a piece of the old Eiffel Tower? Well, okay, so not like they weren't like taking
I'm about
from
to
the,
say there's a new Eiffel Tower and all. You mean the
in
renovated
19
stuff?
like 16 or 17 they basically reconstructed or fixed the Eiffel Tower, and the metal that was left over they still just have. And so they put a piece of that metal into every single medal that the Olympians won.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
You know what they're going to do for the Olympics in Los Angeles? They're going to put a little piece of Charlie Sheen in each one of the medals.
Okay, nice. I was just thinking every medal has a little chunk of hypodermic needle in it.
Maybe a Corey or two. They're going to put all of them.
Just everyone has a little piece of fabric. It's one of Charlie Sheen's shirts.
They're going to have a big spit cup. All the celebrities going to spit it, and they're going to mix it into the medal. So.
There you go. I like that.
The 23andMe medal.
I'll be honest. When I was learning about like the medals at the Olympics this year, I think the Special Olympics medals are actually, in my opinion, they sound better than the regular medals.
Sound?
The description of them sounds like they would be cooler. So the backside of the Special Olympics medal is going to have it's going to have it all in Braille, like the Paris 2024 or whatever.
Yeah.
But it also has in the middle a tactile version of what it feels like to look up the Eiffel Tower.
Oh,
so like that's one of the things when you go to France, you go stand under the Eiffel Tower and you look up to get the view.
I did that to the St. Louis Arch.
Did you? Mm-hmm. But it's going to have that same tactile view, but for blind people. I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because you go all the way to Paris, you don't get to sightsee if you can't see sight.
No.
So,
I wanted to
it.
see a still shot from European Vacation where they have Chevy and Rusty standing on the Eiffel Tower and he's all doing I'm so inspired. I want to write. I want to paint. I want to make something with my hands. Is there a bathroom around here, Rusty? I want a screenshot of that on the medal.
That's great.
All right, let me give you the rundown for today's show. We do have a full slate for you today. We got here, in matter of fact, our first guests are patiently waiting through our bad jokes here to get to their part of the show here. We'll have Don Weld and Meredith Hilders join us with Friends of Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge, and we are weeks away from Bitter Lake's annual tradition here, the Dragonfly Festival, coming up September 7th. That Saturday's like the big day, but it spills over into the Friday before and in the Sunday after here too. So we'll talk all about that with Don and Meredith here in just a few.
Did the Dragonflies get the memo, by the way? Because they're already showing up. Like they were hanging out by my kid's mom's house yesterday.
Hey, Mother Nature didn't get the memo.
All right.
We moved everything up this year.
It's a little extended vacation they're taking.
And then in the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have Jason and Adrian join us with Allison's Home Supply House and talk a little bit about their business. They do they do much more than carpeting. I think most people think about carpeting, and that's just the tip of the home supply iceberg there. So we'll have a great conversation with them in the 8 o'clock hour. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we're scheduled to have the folks from the district attorney's office join us, not to serve me a subpoena, but to or take me to jail. Not yet, not till 10. But I'm just kidding. No, they're going to join us for our monthly meeting. We usually get one of the deputy DAs or sometimes the DA or lead investigator or some of the other folks there, and they'll join us and just talk a little bit about what, the DA's office and, how the sausage is made a little bit there at the DA's office. So we'll have that conversation about 9:15. Plus, all of your features that include the newses of the local and national variety, along with your Wall Street business updates and the other updates we all have there. But first, that thing I was saying you're not going to like, here it is officially, the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Lots of sunshine and pretty hot today, 100 to 105 on the afternoon highs. Overnight looks clear, low 70s. We'll have dry air in place again on Friday with high pressure parked overhead, sunny and 100 to 105. We'll hit about 105 for the afternoon high on Saturday with sunshine. We're expecting low 100s on Sunday and sunny, about the same into Monday. That's your latest forecast. This is meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 74 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 54%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny, 104 today. West winds at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, 71 for an overnight low. East winds 5 miles per hour. Friday, sunny, 105. Southeast winds 5 to 10. Friday night, clear skies. Overnight low of 74 degrees. South winds 5 to 10. Saturday, sunny, 103. Sunday, sunny, 101. And then, like I said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, 102, 105, 105. So it's just going to be hot at least next week or so. All right, it is 7:14. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break, and then we'll talk Friends of Bitter Lake and Dragonfly Festival up next. Don't go away.
Pressure Services, LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has immediate openings for experienced vacuum truck, kill truck, and hydrovac operators. Operators must hold a Class A CDL, at least 2 years of experience, and all positions require a clean driving record and must be able to pass a DOT drug and alcohol screening. Pressure Services offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please apply in person at 2702 North Freeman in Artesia, New Mexico. Equal Opportunity Employer.
Are you ready to succeed? The health education programs at ENMU Roswell can set you up for success with a wide variety of courses such as emergency medical services, fire science, medical assisting, nursing, and respiratory therapy. ENMU Roswell can prepare you for a rewarding career in the healthcare industry. ENMUR stacks courses in order to get the student into a job as quickly as possible while creating a pathway for more advanced certifications, licenses, and degrees. Fall registration is now through August 16th on campus and online at roswell.enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Success starts here.
You are 13.8% more likely to die on your birthday. Think about that the next time you want to celebrate your birthday month. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 16 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, now officially, from Friends of Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge, Meredith Hildreth and Don Weld back with us. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How's everybody feeling this morning?
Oh, wonderful.
Hopefully you got
day.
plans to stay cool today and for the next week, it sounds like. But, maybe if you're going to go out to Bitter Lake this week and make morning trips out there, get there before the sun gets too baking out there. And to be honest, the best activities either when the sun's coming up or going down. That's where all the action's happening at Bitter Lake. Kind of in between is kind of, you might see this here and there, but
the sun comes up, the gate goes up, go in.
That's right. Absolutely. But if this weekend is a little bit busy for you, then you need to make plans for the weekend of September 7th, because that is the biggest event that happens at the Bitter Lake National Wildlife Refuge every single year, and is the annual Dragonfly Festival. And it's a fun-filled. It's most of it's that Saturday. That's where the big party day is, where everyone's going to be there, and we're going to have different booths, different events, all the Dragonfly and wildlife tours, and the early bird tour, and all that's going to be happening. Butterfly release, all that's on Saturday. Yeah. But generally, it kind of kicks off Friday night. Usually they'll have, and I'll let you can update, but usually have like a Star Watch party or some kind of presentation gathering, and then Sunday if you didn't get a chance to do some of the tours, they'll usually do a series of some of the Dragonfly tours till about noon or 1 o'clock on Sunday as well.
Yeah.
Too. So opportunities abound all weekend, but Saturday the 7th is the big
main
big
event.
party day. Yeah.
Right.
So talk about what's on tap for this year's Dragonfly Festival. Some of the traditional stuff and any new stuff we want to let folks know about.
What's Friday night?
On Friday night, Karen Gaines, who works for New Mexico Game and Fish, will present all about dragonflies.
Okay.
And that will be in the auditorium.
So if you don't know
at the
nothing about
Nature Store.
dragonflies, come out Friday night and get your prequel indoctrination into the world of the dragonfly.
That's right.
Yeah,
You can learn about dragonflies.
Right.
Yep.
And you're going to learn. They're pretty amazing creatures.
They
Over
are.
the years, you hear different things, and the life cycle of a dragonfly. It's neat to see how all the pieces.
Most
fit the
of their
puzzle.
life is spent underwater.
Yeah.
You
You don't think about that. You only all we see is the part where they're flying around for a little bit.
That's right, and that's just for a few months.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like the monarch butterflies. We always talk about that. It's like, really some of those butterflies on Earth just to get the herd, X amount of miles to the next
next
checkpoint or whatever.
Yeah.
That fascinates me about nature, and maybe if you're like that, be a friend of Bitter Lake. You can get to do all that. But this year's, I know I got sidetracked again. I do that. But so come out Friday night for this presentation. Especially if you kind of want to get more familiar with dragonflies, and it's way more fun than getting on Google and reading it. You can get out there and get out in nature and see it and do it.
A lot of times these presentations, they have live dragonflies that
you can firsthand experience. Kids will love that stuff. So bring the kids out too.
On some of the tours, depending on the guide, whether or not they have that opportunity, they will catch dragonflies, and the kids get to hold the dragonfly.
Oh, cool.
They show them how to do it delicately.
Nature permitting, of course.
Right. And they show them how to do it delicately without damaging.
How to properly. So if they ever happen to be out on their own and they come across a dragonfly and they want to either them as kids or show their kids someday, they're like, I was taught
show them
by
how
the
to do
ranger
it.
at the
just make sure you ask the dragonfly for permission.
Yes, get to know, do a formal introduction.
How you doing?
Bower, curtsy.
You want to shake hands?
That's right. At least a wing. But no, but that's. This is something I want to put on people's radar. Your kids are going to have an amazing time this weekend at the Dragonfly Festival. The adults will too. But adults, bring your kids. If you're looking for fun, education, all of the above, it's Dragonfly Festival's full of that. It's just the kids get to get out there and experience nature and get to see these animals and go on the tours. If they get a part of the butterfly release, maybe your child could be one of the individuals that get to release the butterflies here. You can sign up through Friends of Bitter Lake to do that. Yep. Or come on the tours and get to, and it's our kids. You're out in the wilderness, or out in the wildlife refuge. They like to play in the mud and stuff a little. Kids like to get in the dirt.
There's going to be a lot of kid activities.
Yeah.
So Game and Fish will be there with their archery range, their fishing pond, and some other really cool
you get to
things.
So maybe for some families, your first kind of hunting fishing experience with your children. If you want to, as you teach them the rope, so to speak, it's a lot easier in a pond that increases the odds.
It's a catch and release, and
I get it,
and that's great.
If you're trying to teach fishing and the kid never catches a fish, they're probably not going to be excited about fishing. But when they get the first fish on,
it's like,
then the excitement.
And then they also have the craft display or the craft
arts and craft table.
And the kids will get to do arts and crafts and obviously dragonfly related crafts and arts and things.
And then I always enjoy the various agencies who have booths and displays out there under the big tent.
Yeah, it's a community
outside.
event. As much as we're promoting and showing off Bitter Lake and our dragonflies, this is a community event. You're going to have nonprofits and other organizations that are going to be there that you can learn about, be a part of.
Right.
Some of them will be offering raffles and drawings, raising money for the organization. So if you play your cards right and you're lucky, you might win a bunch of stuff.
And who knows, maybe even Smokey Bear will make an appearance.
Smokey the Bear.
Well,
we'll see.
It's so hot at this time of the year.
He likes it up in the mountains, just saying.
It gets a little hot for him
mountain
down
bear.
here. Yes. But sometimes he can tolerate it for a while and come down.
Good deal.
We'll see.
we'll see how that works out.
I don't know. How do bears cool off? Do they like lemonade? What's the...
They jump in the river.
We want to...
Someone might get mad if he does that.
Yeah.
Here's a shout out, too, to all the other refuges in the region who are going to come down and help.
Oh, good. We get some other of our regional groups are going to be there, too.
Yes.
Good deal. Excellent.
From Bosque del Apache.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably Valle de Oro.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Maybe the one, what's up north?
Civieta or?
Civieta.
Okay.
No, Civieta too, but the one up in the north east corner. God, I'll think of their name here in a minute. They're not an open refuge.
Now, are these refuges, do they serve kind of the same role as Bitter Lake, or do they all have different missions based on their location?
They are all Fish and Wildlife Service.
Gotcha.
So they're all National Wildlife Refuges.
Different things go on there. Like, we think of Bitter Lake, and we think of it as kind of like the joke about Pilot Flying J. It's a migratory resting stop. Do some of these others serve that same role, or do they have other missions?
Similar roles, but with a different group of animals and birds.
Different migratory animals will visit their locations because their environment is more to their liking, and we get the butterflies and some of the geese and some of that stuff.
And the Fish and Wildlife Service, their mission is wildlife conservation, habitat, conservation, restoration.
Well, and that's something we need to remind everybody. Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge, National Wildlife. I always forget the national. It is a National Wildlife Refuge, and places very similar to this. These are places that are for the natural habitat of the environment in which the refuge is in. Right. That is the primary person or a thing that it is for. It is not for us, the humans. We are the visitors at Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge. If you want to camp and go on swimming in the lake, do all that stuff, that's where Bottomless Lakes comes in.
Correct.
You come out there and recreate to your heart's content.
Right. That's a state park.
Yes, that's a state park. Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge is a sanctuary for plant life and animal home that call native to New Mexico.
And migratory
animals that come in for a quick bite to eat and fill up the tank and head on out the road again here.
Yeah.
But and so it's not there for the camping. So you're there as a visitor. The nature is the primary thing. You go there. You don't disturb the nature. You don't go off the trails. You don't do human. It's. You're there as a spectator, a fly on the wall, so to speak, and watching nature happen here.
That's right.
And that's what Bitter Lake's for. It's allowing we to just come in and see what nature do nature's thing. The big battle, and this is where they could use more friends, is the big battle is the Friends of Bitter Lake. They're a volunteer group, and of course we run the Dragonfly Festival and all the gift shop that you'll find out at Bitter Lake. That's all through Friends of Bitter Lake.
The Nature Store.
The Nature Store, yes.
Yeah, that's the Friends of Bitter Lake National Wildlife Refuge's fundraising.
Yes.
That's
what helps pay for projects and various other things that go on.
That's how the Friends group supports the refuge.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. And so the Friends, when they do that part, but also they'll do service projects, when weather permits or time permits, various things like when you come out there and enjoy various like the bird blind or some of the other trails and things like that at Bitter Lake. Friends of Bitter Lake are the ones that are
Butterfly
maintaining
Trail and all that stuff.
Keeping that stuff.
Don has been just heroic in terms of getting the irrigation up and running.
He didn't have to be an engineer too, huh?
Yeah. and maintained on that Butterfly Trail.
Yeah. I knew that was my calling a long time ago, but I just didn't know it was going to be this calling.
Well, Don could use help. So if there's folks out there that love getting in nature and love to, or maybe you're a kind of a gardener, landscaper type, and maybe people saying you've done enough to your property. Maybe it's time to move on. They could always use help out at Bitter Lake.
Sure, of course. We love our volunteers. We appreciate them so much.
Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, you come out to Dragonfly Festival, you can kind of learn more about being a friend there.
You can.
There'll be lots of friends.
You can come talk to Don and me. We'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be at the Friends table.
We'll be next to outside the visitor center. There's a Friends booth. You can sign up for a membership and
come be a part and
talk to us about volunteering.
And membership does have its privileges, something that I know Don and I have talked about, and yourself here, over the years, that you as a friend, because you're a volunteer, you're working, you're going to be, but you as a friend, there's many parts of the refuge that the public just don't get to go be part of for good reason, because you don't need to be there for one thing. But
we're being invasive, and you don't want to do that.
And so, as a friend, you get to maybe see some of the parts of the refuge and actively take part in the development planning and preservation of some of this stuff. Out in those parts where, like, because there's a whole part that's, where they're doing archaeology, studying natives, hunting grounds, and things like. There's almost, I wouldn't say as much, but almost as much human history being studied out there as there is nature and natural history and stuff like that. So the study of earlier human settlers and our Native Americans, and this was their home, this was their hunting grounds, and so we're studying how they did it and how archaeological, getting relics, artifacts, hoping to find proof of their life here before after we're here and all. That's just as much Bitter Lake as it is. Hey, we got a flock of geese coming in here in the month here. And the other thing I want to remind folks is come out to Bitter Lake for the Dragonfly Festival, and then turn around and come back like a month later, because that's when the cranes will start rolling in and all that. But every season is a different experience out at Bitter Lake. You come in say April, it's going to be way different than you come in September. You come in September, it's going to be way different than when you come in December.
And the views are so beautiful out there. You can see the whole range of the Sacramentos as well as El Capitan from those vantage points.
You forget you're in southeast New Mexico for a little bit.
The refuge also replaced some of their fencing to create antelope-friendly fencing, because antelope crawl under the fences. And I saw a beautiful pronghorn out there one day. So
well, and again, this is part of that battle we're talking about, allowing the native to be there, keeping the non-native out. I started to talk about that. That's a big battle that friends and everyone at Bitter Lake fight. Is there's certain plant life, animals, and things that through various people over the years, they ended up in this part of the country. It is not native to this region, but it thrives, especially certain plant life, thrives in this region because of our climate. And unfortunately, it overcrowds some of the native stuff. So there's that huge battle going on. If you want to see anything of a fight that's going on at Bitter Lake, it's the non-native plant species coming in to invade the native
salt
plant
cedar.
species. Yes.
Our worst enemy.
So the biologist, Carl, he received a substantial grant for 3 years to reduce the salt cedar population.
Good deal. So maybe we can get him, like Ghostbusters are popular again. Maybe we get him a Salt Cedars Busters outfit. And they do it up like Ghostbusters.
There you go.
That'd be kind of fun, I think. I mean, we're marking to get money here,
And then they have conservation corps come in and help with those crews, and we've gotten to meet some of them over time, and
through
they're
over
just
the years,
great.
National Geographic, these various other entities like that have come in doing studies, research, or documentation of life here, and Bitter Lake is a big deal. People, it's in your own backyard,
and it's a small refuge in terms of the refuge system.
We have a
but its role is very huge.
It's very huge for the migratory fowl. As you said, the lesser sandhill crane will be migrating in the fall.
Yeah. You're right.
About October is when they start arriving.
I remember it was November, October, right around that time where they kind of. And they'll have the Cranes and Cocoa event, which we'll tell you more about as we get close to that. We'll get through Dragonfly Festival.
That'll be in November.
They'll be in the first part of November.
Yes.
The Cranes and Cocoa.
But that's really is Bitter Lake is as the seasons change, so does Bitter Lake. It just is that's the beauty of Bitter Lake, really is.
So on Friday night, again, we're going to have a talk on dragonflies.
Yes.
And that will be Friday evening. Karen Gaines with Game and Fish will talk about dragonflies. And afterwards, the Roswell Astronomy Club will be out there on the back deck.
Ooh, weather permitting, of course. It's a clear night that night.
Hopefully.
Yes.
With some...
Knocking on wood.
With some telescopes, hopefully. And it's beautiful out there at night.
This is the advantage of us not living in a heavily populated world. Sure, if you're in the city of Roswell, the lights are there. Drive a few miles outside of the city.
We can appreciate our dark skies.
And you can see a whole different world. Say what you want, but about what's going on. New Mexico truly is a land of enchantment when it comes to our nature and this, because we literally have everything. We're sitting in the middle of the desert. You go an hour away, you're 12,000 feet in the mountains. There's not many places in our country you can experience those kind of changes and things like that.
That's right.
Folks that are born and raised here, I get it. You take it for granted. It's like I grew up in Maryland, D.C. area. People in that area take for granted all the history and things they have sitting in their own backyard. It's no different here. You got this beauty, you got this majestic home here in your own backyard, and sometimes you can't see the forest from the trees. But trust me, you have an amazing asset and beautiful thing here that we need to foster, enhance, and keep going for generations to come.
I want to talk a little bit about Saturday's programs also in the auditorium at the Visitor Center. Laura McCann will present birds.
Okay.
She has the Birds of Prey on Saturday, and Justin Stevenson will present about bats on Saturday as well. Yeah. And they both have live birds and live bats.
So we get to come and see actual birds of prey and bats.
It's a lot of fun.
Now, excuse the bats are a little tired. It'll be during the day, and that's usually their sleeping time. So he's not very active. Just you caught him in the middle of the night. It's really, and I'm going to get sidetracked again, but, since we're talking about bats, I did get one time I had an opportunity to go to Carlsbad Caverns for the, when the bats go out to hunt at night there, and usually around dusk time. And this is the thing I always want to point out in nature, that nature, when you come to see the shows of nature shows don't work on a clock or a set schedule.
No.
And to be honest,
they're
not always out to try to put out their most impressive show every night. They're not looking, let's have the best show yet. They're not doing any of that. Just so you know. So sometimes when you go down there, I guess the bats weren't hungry that night. I don't know. But like I didn't get to see the swarm. They trickled out ones and twos. But I guess that night they were eating in. I don't know, but
it does depend on the weather. If it's chilly or rainy, they may not venture out.
They're just like us. It's like it's nasty. I don't want to go out. But that comes so get your hands on and see bats and birds of prey, which is always cool. So I imagine they'll probably have when you say birds of prey, we're not talking about the DC movie. We're talking about hawks, falcons, birds that hunt and eat and feed themselves with other
She usually brings some live birds with her.
Okay.
I
sometimes even a turkey vulture, which is
they're quite big.
They don't hunt, but they're very
carrion eaters.
Yeah, they're. Put it this way: you walk up on one, you're like, I don't need to mess with that. They're big.
And she's great. We really enjoy every time she comes out to the refuge, Laura McCann.
And children of all ages love coming up and doing. We say for the kids, but I know there's going to be equally as many adults going, I want to touch the vulture. I want to see about this. So please bring the whole family out for these events.
And talking about bats again, the refuge is conducting a survey of the various bats that live on the refuge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like, and that's a cool thing because people don't think there's more than one bat. It's like I just know bats,
Right.
Yeah. And a bat is not necessarily a bat.
And talking about different bats, we've had a visitor on the refuge lately, a bird.
Really?
A spoonbill.
Interesting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Now, is this bird, do we know, did it just stumble upon it here, or was it migrating?
We think it got blown off course by a hurricane and landed at the refuge. Gotcha. So it's attracted many, many visitors to come see this fella.
Yeah. That happens sometimes.
There's Patrick Collins has posted pictures of the spoonbill on the Facebook page.
Excellent.
So check out the Friends of Bitter Lake.
While it's still in town, come see it.
Yeah. Facebook page.
Yeah.
And that does happen from time to time where, where the birds come through and maybe there's some stragglers or they get blown off course, or some will stop, have their young, and then catch up later, kind of thing. So those kind of things do happen from time to time.
Yep.
And so once in a while you go out there and it's like, there's some cranes that said, we're not going to leave. We're going to have our kids and hang out for a little bit.
I think that spoonbill normally goes into Florida area.
Okay.
I saw them in South America, so I'm not sure what their migratory path is.
Yeah. Yeah, their GPS is taking them the long way. If this.
Another.
But if it's Gulf Streams, maybe in the Gulf Streams, it's quicker that way.
He's been quite a welcome.
Yeah.
Addition.
Well, that is cool. Well, so maybe. Well, you know what? If you can this weekend, maybe come out and come see Bitter Lake. Before the hustle and bustle of Dragonfly Festival, and come see it kind of in its natural state a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, and you talked about different areas of the refuge that are not open to the public. One of those areas is an area of what we call karst terrain.
Okay.
It's sinkholes. There's over 70 sinkholes.
Yeah, probably a good reason for not letting people out there. That could be a bad day for some people.
Over 70 sinkholes on the refuge. And sometimes when members get to go out and on special tours to see those sinkholes.
Good deal.
It's really fun.
Awesome. Yeah, and again, perks of being friends and things, and being a part of a volunteer out at doing this thing. Now, the other thing, too, is when we talk about Dragonfly Festival, all these activities, but the big thing are the tours. That's kind of the thing we want to make sure you sign up for. There's many times they're free to sign up. However, you do need to pre-register to get in on the tours. And they do fill fast. So right now, we're a couple weeks out. People aren't quite thinking about it yet. So the picking's good right now. But don't wait, because give it a week or two here, and people are like, oh, that's right, we need to get our time and get this. So if you go to probably friendsofbitterlake.org, is that probably the best bet, or just call direct, or what's probably the best way to reserve?
Your best way is to call in at that 575-244-6256.
Okay.
And make your reservation. You can reserve for the tours and for the butterfly release.
Okay.
Get your kids in to release butterflies, and then when they come in on Saturday, first thing go into the nature store and pick up your little ticket. You've already made your reservations. Go in and say, hey, I've got my reservations.
They'll give you the ticket when you go to the event.
They do that.
They're releasing butterflies.
Yeah, they do that in 3 different places, so it's got to be a color-coded ticket.
Oh, okay. So to know which place to go and meet at, so makes sense. So, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate. The people at the store will guide you if you get confused on that stuff.
So yes, so definitely reserve your butterfly, your monarch. By calling that number. It's, again, 575-244-6256.
Yep. Call that. Leave a voicemail if you don't get a live person there, and they'll get back to you as soon as humanly
Remember,
possible.
we started taking reservations August 1st.
Okay, so some are starting to fill up already.
Yeah, we're already getting a lot of fill-ups there.
Okay, so that don't wait.
Get in there
call
quick.
Here. Now,
for the Dragonfly tours, for the wildlife tours, call and make your reservations.
Yeah, so the tours you get to choose from, the Dragonfly tours, and that's where most people go.
Right.
They'll start at 8:30 in the morning on Saturday, and the last one wraps up about 3:30 that day. Then there'll be that's the Dragonfly tours on Saturday. On Sunday, they'll be doing Dragonfly tours beginning at 9 a.m. till about 1:30. So you can get a reservation on any of those, and that's on September 8th.
Right.
So if you're busy doing all the other stuff and you get a chance to, you can come back on Sunday and do that.
That's right.
Now, there is one and one only early bird tour, and that's Saturday morning beginning at 6:30. Or is it 5:30? 6:30. Sorry, my glasses. I need thicker glasses. But
oh no, my arms aren't long enough.
Right. And that in the early bird tour is in what it says. It's early. You're looking at birds. And that's the tour. So you get to come out early and see the birds of the Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge.
You do get to see other creatures as well that early in the morning.
You're not allowed to look at them, though.
No, you can't. No.
Just kidding. And then, of course, there's one more, the wildlife tours. And they're going to be on Saturday only. And there's less available of those. Dragonfly tours there's more of. But there's only about 4 different wildlife tours that you can sign up for. And they begin at 8 a.m. Saturday. The last one starts at 3 p.m. on Saturday as well, too, there. But if you call the number 575-244-6256, 575-244-6256, call that number and reserve either for the monarch or actually both. You're going to want to get you a Dragonfly tour, maybe a early bird tour if you want to get there, dark 30 and start your day there. And of course, get your children signed up to release for the monarch butterfly release here and be a part of that. Go to friendsofbitterlake.org. That's the official website
Right.
of the Friends of Bitter Lake. There you'll find the flyer. You'll find more information. By the way, we do want to announce our winner too here. I forgot to do that. If another tradition of the Dragonfly Festival every year is the schools here, and it goes into elementary, middle school, I think even high school a little bit too.
We have an art contest.
Yeah.
So it's called
sixth grade.
Sixth grade. Okay.
The Dragonfly Art Contest. It's K through 5th.
5. Okay, it is 5.
K
That's
through
right.
5th.
Man,
6 goes in the
they
middle.
go into
of
the
school.
retirement home. No, I was kidding.
And there's judges who judge the art and
I was
select.
asked this time, and I got to.
Yes,
it's really
you
cool.
did. Yeah.
There are so many cool. I ain't gonna lie, it was not easy. We have some talented kids in this community.
We do.
And-
We really do.
And we have an awesome winner, but we could have easily had many others. If we could make 30 different shirts, we could have had 30 different winners, 30 different designs. You know, I mean, we could,
yeah.
But we did end up picking one.
Yes.
And her name, she's a 4th grader from Washington Avenue, and I got to take my glasses off here. Aubriana Gonzalez. She was she's from 4th grade at Washington Avenue Elementary. And if you want to see her artwork, then go to Friends of Bitter Lake, and you'll see the flyer, and it's got the artwork, and then you can kind of scroll down and see the actual, or scroll up.
So the
Yeah,
student,
there it is. You can actually see the actual artwork.
the
she turned
student
in.
artwork, the winner, the grand prize winner, their art becomes the Dragonfly Festival logo
Yes.
for that year.
All the T-shirts, the flyers, everything that's attached to this. Her art will be the official, artwork of the Dragonfly.
And we do that every year.
Every year we have amazing art submitted, and we announced, because each age groups had different winners and things like that, but she was the overall, because after that it's all right. Here's your. It's so cool. I was ready to go, but I ain't gonna lie, it's hard. These kids, they do some amazing thing, and you're like. And we get there, and you see, because they do a whole thing where they coins, and you kind of, all right, now, which one like this one? And people we're all sitting there like, no, man, I like this one for this, but I like this one for this. And then finally you're just, all right, this one.
We'll go this one.
You have to make a decision.
Yeah.
We have got so many artistic kids in this town.
I would say there was
amazing.
at least, with all the tables, you probably had a good 100 square foot of just, if you put all the pictures and just laid them down there, probably a good 100 square foot of just nothing but pictures there. Really
There's some of them that we post at the nature store.
Some honorable mentions and some.
Yeah, we put them on the back wall
in the
there,
visitor center.
where you
so
can
come see them when you come out. Come check those out and come. And by the way, when you do shop at the store there, the Bitter Lake store, like we were saying earlier, all the proceeds of that go back to projects and things of Bitter Lake. But there's some really cool stuff out there. Like if you're looking for gifts for birthdays or holidays, things like that,
or whatever.
I mean, we got. It's not just books and T-shirts. There's lots of interactive stuff for kids, adults too. And kids at heart.
Educational things.
Absolutely. There's think of it like and this is where I grew up in a world where I saw this all the time, but. Think of it like when you go to the Smithsonian in the gift shop. They have so many great that you go there and you could buy puzzles and toys and games and all kinds of stuff, books and everything else. Our Friends of Bitter Lake store is just like that. Just not quite as big as the Smithsonian.
We just want to thank Jana Birch so much for her dedication and volunteering to run that nature store.
Absolutely. Well, it wouldn't be there if it wasn't for
She
people
keeps it beautiful and stocked.
And by the way, there's always doing volunteers, because a lot of times you'll get you're traveling, I don't know, snowbirds, I don't know what you want to call them. RVers, yeah. And they'll come and they'll they're retired or they're on vacation, and so they're spending months on the road driving around, and they'll say, hey, they'll pull into Bitter Lake and they'll volunteer on the refuge, maybe work in the store or whatever, and basically set up their RV on the property and live there for a couple weeks or a month and just work the store every day and then go on to their next wherever they go to on their vacation or wherever they're going to. And that happens every year. And we're more so in the summer because
some of them just go from refuge to refuge.
That's kind of their retirement plan. It's like,
that's right.
What a great idea.
They
You
just
love
haul
nature and
their RV around and go to these different refuges.
Play cards right. You open the door every day and drink your coffee in a different scene every morning. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Not a bad gig. you like driving and living in that lifestyle, good for you.
So we have all kinds of volunteers, and not only on the refuge, but administratively as well.
Sure.
We need people to help us with marketing, and
So if you have expertise in, bookkeeping, marketing, probably even a few lawyers out there, it never hurts to have a few legal minds helping out too. And you can use your skill sets there. So if you're like, I don't know anything about birds.
we need both brains and brawn volunteers.
All makes the match. Well,
You don't have to be a ditch digger. We need somebody with a pencil.
That's right.
As well.
So we can keep digging ditches.
That's right.
Without the pencil guys, there's no money to dig ditches.
That's right.
We have a small board right now. We have 6 on our board, and we just appreciate their dedication and showing up to meetings.
So
and
if there's room for 1 or 2 more, if they're dedicated and want to do it?
We do.
We could add more.
Excellent.
So if you've got some kind of background in almost anything, like we said, digging ditches to pushing a pencil.
If you just want
let
to
us
help
know.
out. We'll find a place. We'll find a hole to put you in to
Absolutely.
help out.
We would really love to have some younger people involved, and so.
Well, absolutely. A, because you have strong backs, but B, because the next generation, we got to, let's face it, when you have
the creativity out there,
different perspectives.
We want to harness that creativity and.
Well, as we get older, we get kind of set in our ways and thoughts and things. And sometimes you need a young person there to remind you, hey, let's cement your thoughts here and let's be
We always
fluid.
have new interns on the refuge, like biology interns. They come in to our refuge for about 6 months and then go somewhere else or get jobs in Fish and Wildlife
I think if
Service.
there's teenagers that have aspirations to go into this, biology or
come on
conservation
out.
work,
we have
quite an
young
education out there at Bitter.
We have a young birders
like these
program.
kids that do the dragonfly the drawing contest. Look at the creativity on some of them.
Absolutely.
They're perfect to keep them going and coming right into the
I'm not going to lie.
refuge later.
I look at half those pictures and I couldn't pull that off. Mine would look nowhere near as good as that.
That's right.
Yeah, these kids have and we.
So these are the ones that we want to
who
get
knows, maybe we get the right
encouraged
bit.
to
Maybe some teenagers come
continue
out
to
there
grow.
and do a service project. And that's when they realize, I like nature.
Yeah,
I like this stuff.
Yeah.
I like it. This is something I want to be more of.
Right.
And so maybe you're forming those things for these kids too. And I know like a lot of times too, you partner with youth. I know the scouts generally they'll come and they're one of the few groups that actually will go camping out there because what they're doing is they have a designated scouting area for camping and things. But they actually go out there and work. And then a lot of these scouts will earn their badges and things going out there and doing projects and things for
Which is another thing we needed done. We need to get the scout camp cleaned up.
Okay.
That flood that we had last year or the year before.
It did some damage.
Oh man, it just wiped it out. So we've got a lot of stuff out there that needs to be cleaned up and worked on.
So we got a list. If you're looking, if you're one of those folks that will look for projects, we got a laundry list. We got a honey to-do list for you already.
Oh yeah, boy
Definitely.
Boy do we. Yep.
But first, come on out, Dragonfly Festival for 2024. That's Saturday, officially September 7th. But September 6th is when it all starts with our talk and then watch party, sky party, and then Saturday the whole day of tours and fishing and archery and butterfly releases and eating. Don't forget eating. There's going to be food out there and all that stuff. And then it even trickles into Sunday with our last of our Dragonfly tours there.
We'll have a coffee and pastry truck this year.
Well,
right?
Stellar.
The Stellar, and that's
the
another
satellite. The Stellar satellite will
And by
be
the
out
way,
there.
you're helping CASA every time you buy a cup of coffee or a Danish or something out of that food truck there.
They will
So
be out there
another
with the
win-win
coffee
there.
truck.
That's right.
So drink copious.
And we're
amounts.
going to have some other vendors and.
And the Boy Scouts will do their
Scouts
hot dog.
are usually out there.
yeah, they have
doing
their hot dog hamburger thing going.
Yeah, so if you're thinking it's too late for coffee, it's too hot, I'm ready for water and dogs.
Well, if you get out there early, you can go to Stellar's and get a pastry and a coffee.
Yeah.
And then for lunch, you can have a hot dog or a hamburger.
That's how a food
as
thinker
Boy
thinks.
Scout. There you go.
We plan our destinations by where I can get food. That's a smart move, and that's how I live my life. It's like, but that's where they have the good cookies. So we're stopping there first. But yes, come on out, Bitter. Trust me. There's and by the way, too, like we said, with all these nonprofits, if you're looking for another opportunity to get involved, Bitter Lake's going to be, go out there, and if maybe the things at Bitter Lake, but these other organizations could use volunteers and stuff too, so you can learn about their
and members
and be members of. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Join us.
Absolutely. Remember, and that's the cool thing. Even if maybe you're not, I don't want to be digging ditch and stuff, but your membership does help. Numbers, financially, everything else. So if you're like, I love what you're doing, but I'm not that guy that digs ditches, and I'm out in the sun too long and I pass. But you want to support, come be a friend, be a member.
We also take donations and sponsorships.
Absolutely.
So we thank you to all of our sponsors for this year's Dragonfly Festival and previous Dragonfly Festivals and future Dragonfly Festivals.
Right. Well, none of these would happen without the volunteers.
We need those sponsors. So thank you so much, everyone, for sponsoring.
And sponsorship's still available. Reach out to Friends of Bitter Lake. It'll always take your money.
That's right.
But that's,
it goes to a good cause. The Dragonfly Festival is all about education.
This is preserving what we got for generations to come.
That's right.
To educate, to entertain. Because let's face it, if you spend a day sitting, weather permitting, obviously, but spend the day just sitting out by the lake watching the day go by, that's a great day for me. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm kind of like, I'm a people watcher, and I love watching things happen too. In nature, same way. I'll be sitting there all day. It's like, I just saw these two birds arguing over a worm just a minute ago. You know?
So every time you see a dragonfly flying around right now, remember Bitter Lake.
That's right.
Now you got to remember
the Dragonfly Festival coming up on September 7th.
Yes, and please, if you want to get in on any of the Dragonfly tours or the Early Bird Tour or the Wildlife Tours, please call today. Today, definitely don't wait till 2 weeks from now. 575-244-6256, 575-244-6256, and get your reservations for any of the wildlife tours. They start about 8 in the morning. They go to about 1, 3 in the afternoon there. Just you can get on there, and they'll do all that for you. But do it now, because you're going to. Now, if people don't show, they'll work them in as they can at the event. But But there's no guarantee you're going to get a tour if you do it that way. The only way I can guarantee you get on a tour is if you reserve it now.
Reserve it.
So get it done. Friendsofbitterlake.org. If you want to learn more about everything we're talking about, you can see the flyer, see the artwork of our awesome artists and young students here. And then, of course, if you have any questions about any of the stuff we talked about, you'll find that information right there, too. So, did we get it all?
I think so.
Awesome. Well, thank you, guys. We'll see you again here before... a couple more times before the actual event here. So this is your early bird reminder.
2 weeks. Steve is going to be here in 2 weeks.
Steve Alvarez. He's I'm going to do it every time. I always call him, he's your park ranger of the,
more or less.
Yeah, he's kind of that guy.
He's what they call community interface.
Yeah, he's got a much fancier title, but to me, he's the park ranger.
He did start off in Fish and Wildlife Service as law enforcement.
So he's
been to different refuges around the country.
He does have a lot of
background.
Yeah.
He does.
And so I guess he went from enforcing it to just being a part of it.
Yeah, he's been at this refuge for over 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
So he's not moving anytime soon. I think he found a place he likes.
Well,
that would be my hunch. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate it, and we'll see you here next time, okay?
Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you.
Let me get my computer. My computer's being a little ornery. I'm trying to do things. All right, it is 7:56. Let's get you into your Wall Street business update. Quick commercial break before news. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. Come on. I got a mouse that's fighting. Serious, the mouse is not going to let. I got to do this. I wish I was joking. I'm not. This is inside baseball. Your computer. It's like it's locked up. It will not. All right, we're going to play this, and then I'll try to skip to that. We'll be back.
Now, your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Applications are now open for an annual funding event that highlights outdoor recreational startups in the state. 5 finalists will be chosen for the Adventure Pitch 2024, which is set for September 23rd in Las Cruces. Participants must be for-profit companies headquartered here in New Mexico. The finalists will showcase their creative ideas and contribute to the outdoor recreation community. The top 3 winners will take home a cash prize of up to $10,000. Applications are open until August 23rd. An environmental group is planning to make its case in court that the Interior Department is not protecting a vulnerable species of mouse from the effects of cattle grazing in New Mexico's Sacramento Mountains. The Center for Biological Diversity has sued the Interior's Fish and Wildlife Service in the U.S. District Court for the District of New Mexico in order to protect New Mexico meadow jumping mice and several other threatened flora and fauna. They say the animal's habitat, often grazed by cattle, becomes too depleted to support the mice and other species. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Have you gone grocery shopping lately? Your wallet's probably feeling it. I'm Kim Commando, America's Digital Pro, and I've got a great tip to help you out. Planning your meals for the week can be tricky, but AI can make it easier. Just ask ChatGPT or Gemini to create a grocery list based on your budget, household size, and dietary needs. You could prompt it by saying, make a grocery list for a family of 4 with 2 adults and 2 kids, ages 10 and 12, with healthy meals for the week. You can also mention your family's favorite meats, pasta, and veggies. You'll get exactly what you need. Another tip, let ChatGPT know what's already in your fridge or pantry, and it will suggest meals using those items. This way, you maximize what you have and save more. And if you have leftover chicken, rice, and vegetables, you could ask, what meals can I make with these ingredients? I tried it, and I'm thoroughly impressed with the results. Now, if we could just get it to actually cook. Hey, if you're not tech ahead, you're going to be left tech behind. Get my free newsletter at getkim.com. Ghosting. Defined as a friend not responding to a text, or worse, a lover. Or maybe you just read someone's social media post, but you never hit that follow. Don't be a ghoster. Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, go to my profile and follow me. My posts are the best. You're going to sound smarter. You're going to know the moment a data breach happens. So when you're laying in bed tonight scrolling through social media, find me everywhere at Kim Commando. Remember, it's not Kim Kardashian. It's me, the other, well, smaller Kim. Kim Commando. I cried almost every single day this past week. No, not sadness. I cried because I was just laughing so hard. My new daily video podcast, Kim Commando Today, is a total blast. Stream it live at 10:30 a.m. Pacific. That's 1:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, X, and more. Or you can just watch it on demand. And I guarantee you're going to laugh a few times and learn a lot more things about what's going on in the tech world. So just search for me, Kim Commando, wherever you stream your videos. You're going to love it.
A Greek-Canadian man invented the Hawaiian pizza. His name was Tex Colorado, and he's from Detroit. Here's Mike Winters.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio.
Unborn human being. The Arizona Supreme Court ruled Wednesday that those words favored by GOP lawmakers could be used in the pamphlet.
And that's correspondent Keith Peters reporting. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 379 points, a gain of close to 1%. The Nasdaq 285 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Bring you over there.
Cobb jumped in to try to rescue her.
Is somebody in there?
2 workers from a local plant also jumped in to help.
Here.
The group pulled the woman to shore, and Officer Cobb then revived her using chest compressions. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Recapping Wall Street, stocks sharply higher, the NASDAQ up 270. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I apologize for
that dropped out immediately.
You did?
The music.
I did. I stopped it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
I
making
stopped
sure.
it.
Yeah.
I'm about to do a thing. That's
yes, here we go. Settle down.
So, so what's going on? I apologize. I'm having a computer being ornery right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I am trying to reboot it, but I couldn't reboot it until I came on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the other things would stop playing.
Yep.
So I'm trying to, hold on.
This portion of the Mike Winters program, Mornings with Mike Winters, is brought to you by Allison's Home Decor.
So I apologize here, but
yeah, it's technical difficulties. Whenever you're whenever you're joining us for morning radio, we're doing this by the seat of our pants, just like you're listening to it by the seat of your pants.
That's right.
Let's see. Do we have, what can we promote? Actually, I got something I can tell you about. Coming up in a little more than a month from now, we have a big event happening over at the Liberty. Comedian Clay Foley, who is a former cruelty investigator, an animal rescuer, and a transporter. He's also the host of the show Foley Informed. He's going to be, he puts on shows all across the country as a touring stand-up comedian and donates the proceeds to local animal shelters. And they also do things like silent auctions to raise money for local animal shelters, humane societies, and the like. Well, Clay Foley is bringing his Comedy to the Rescue show right here to Roswell. That's going to be happening Friday, September 20th at the Liberty. Now, there'll be an evening full of silent auctions with some great items that are being donated, some great comedy. Clay Foley, your headlining comedian. The opening act is yours truly, Sean Smalls, and so I'll be opening up.
Everybody
for Clay
wants
Foley,
cheap
but,
airfare,
a night full
but
of
where
laughs,
do you
and
find
a night
it?
full of
You
all kinds of fun. And trust me when I say all kinds of stories that you've never heard before from me, stuff that I can't exactly dive into on the confines of the radio. But I'm pulling out all the stops, and I've already checked with Miss Crystal. She basically said it's going to be an adult crowd. Go nuts, say whatever you want to say, and trust me, I will. That's going to be happening Friday, September 20th at the Liberty here in Roswell. Tickets are $25, and again, proceeds will benefit the Roswell Humane Society, so you're helping out a great cause. You can enjoy a night full of comedy. It's going to be an absolute blast. But again, Clay Foley going to be hitting the Liberty on Friday, September 20th, and that's going to be happening at the Liberty. Again, the show starts at 8, but the doors are going to open up at 6 p.m., with the silent auction beginning shortly thereafter. Liberty at 312 North Virginia, right here in Roswell. Get your tickets for Comedy to the Rescue. It's going to be a fun night.
By going after the market mechanisms that create incentives for firms to address shortages in the market. That's all prices.
Shortages in the market, yeah. Was it news?
I don't know. I'm not, my computer's booting up.
That one too, huh?
Oh no, a password?
Uh-oh.
Are you kidding me? I didn't know there was a password.
Uh-oh. Well, this is all fun live radio, folks. You gotta love it. Let's see. So we've talked about Comedy to the Rescue. Well, that's interesting. I'm intrigued as to what's going to happen. We can't. We're kind of in radio limbo right now. Where let me kind of, for those who are just joining us, one computer has politely taken a number 2, a deuce, if you will, in the bed. And our other computer decided, now it's going also to defecate in said sleeping quarters. So this is where we find ourselves. So bear with us. We will get things going just as soon as we can get our computer going. Hopefully that will be momentarily on this here Thursday morning. Give me the rundown sheet real quick so I can... Yeah, there. Thank you. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to have Jason and Adrian from Allison's Home Supply Warehouse. They are a brand new company here in town, and they want to tell you about all of the stuff that they bring to the table, all the fine furnishings that they offer, and how they can make your home feel more like home. So we'll be doing that coming up here in just a few minutes. By the way, I do want to take a quick second to say congratulations to Troy Hayes, the recipient of the 2024 Heritage Award a couple nights ago with the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico. Troy, just an amazing person, and it was an honor to be able to honor him during that event. And a huge thank you to everybody who was a part of the Heritage Dinner, who got their boxes, who enjoyed their meals, and who made a donation to an amazing organization, the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico. Big thanks to all the folks that made that a huge success, and we can't wait to do it again. Status report. How are we doing?
Nothing. I'm dead in the water.
You're dead in the water. We're still dead in the water.
Yeah, I don't have I can't log in. The network. Can you get Casey on the phone there, Roy?
Is that Don on the phone? Where are those pictures I was supposed to see?
If I could get a password from somebody here, this has never shown up on my thing before here, so I'm kind of... So let's do this.
I mean, we can
bring our guests in and we'll do an interview here.
Sure.
I can't play commercials. I can't... advance to the next thing.
Mhm.
I can't even see what's going on here, so
Have
I
we?
apologize.
I was gonna say, have we contacted?
I've got a blue screen. I've sent a text, but the person that can answer this question is doing a show right now. So.
Let me make a phone call.
So let's do this. Let's bring Adrian and Jason in from Allison's, and we'll do our. Give me my sheet here too.
Hey.
Yeah, let's do. Come on in. Have a seat, guys. Let's bring yourself in, and because our on-air system's offline right now, I can't play commercials. I can't advance anything, but I can talk live on the radio. So we're gonna do that until we get something going on here. Sean, if you don't mind getting them on the horn and trying to get them doing all that, and we'll do all this. But fortunately, we have guests in that we can chit-chat for a little bit here while people try to fix our computers. So I know we got way more than Jason and Adrian here. So let's meet everybody here. I'll turn on all the mics. So Jason.
Yep.
All right, and introduce everybody here. What's
Jennifer, my wife.
Okay.
My mother-in-law, Maida.
Hi.
Hi.
And Ethan, my son.
And then Adrian is here as well, too.
I'm not an Allison. All these are.
They are Allison's.
Predominantly
Adrian's just an Adrian.
Always an Adrian.
So, for folks that don't know, Allison's, you guys do a lot of everything. I think most people, at first, they think carpet, floor, things like that, but you kind of, got that covered, but you guys do way more than all that. Kind of, I guess maybe start there. Talk about just the services that you can get through Allison's.
Flooring, for sure, because it was George's.
Uh-huh.
We bought it out.
That's what most people, it used to be the old George's, and another icon staple here for many, many years in Roswell. And, George said, we like to do other things. We're going to, so now we got the next generation coming in to continue the tradition.
We own JC Construction. I've had that for almost 2 decades.
Okay.
So we do everything from commercial to residential.
So you're able to kind of combine the businesses a little bit. Take my construction stuff with the flooring stuff, and now we got just this big conglomerate where we can do it all.
Yeah, and that was a key for me. I seen the opportunity to be able to suffice a lot of contractors.
Okay.
And I know what they want, and I want them to come in the store. I want them to be able to see what we have, and we have 7 people that are on staff that can help everybody that comes in the store. We want to speed up their process. It's like for me, whenever I used to go into George's, I would go in and all you guys would help me out and be able to speed up the process. Takes that load off of even a homeowner, not just per se a contractor.
Okay.
It helps out a lot. But yeah, so we do flooring, we have cabinets, countertops, lighting. We're finishing our warehouse behind the store now, so that'll be just our flooring warehouse.
Gotcha.
And everything else, we bought the United buildings up north on 19th.
So you just need all this storage, it sounds like. You get so much material, you're like, I got to put it somewhere.
And there's more to come. More to come.
And more to come. So we need more buildings?
Yeah.
That's pretty
We might.
So the premise behind that, Mike, was we used to have...
Get on a mic, Adrian, that way they can hear you a little bit better. I can hear you, but they won't hear you so good on the
So
radio.
the premise behind that was when we were George's Carpet and Tile, it would be frustrating for the customers who would come in and we'd say, yeah, we can get you cove base or we can get you tile, but you're 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks out. Now with the storage space,
Sure.
the storage space to come,
we can have it to you.
We will have it to you in days,
whatever.
or even we've got it. We got it right here, and we'll ship it to you, or you can pick it up, whichever way.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was
very good.
It was like yesterday. We had a customer come in, and she's a great customer, and she what did she have her flooring done like a year ago?
Yeah.
And she loved the floor. I love the floor. We use that floor on a lot.
Sure.
That company closed its doors after 50 years, so we have almost $2 million now in flooring in stock in our north warehouse.
So even though they're gone, you're covered with their stuff for a good while here because you got space.
You could see her, and she was just like melting. She was stressed out because she couldn't find that tile, and I'm like, Enid, just go over, check this out, look at this floor, and she saw it, and we were able to get that floor for her. She paid what, $8.99 a square foot for that custom floor. We were able to give her a floor that was close to it for $1.49.
Oh wow!
So she saved $4,000.
And this is post-COVID world we're talking about here. Obviously things have come down since a couple of years ago, thank God. Yeah. But we ain't anywhere and I'm sure you see this as a guy in the industry, we're not, anyway, as far as costs and things, it still costs you a lot more to do what you do today than it did in 2019. That's just truth.
My thing is, when it came to manufacturing and being a contractor, getting cabinets, getting all these different, even plumbing fixtures and things like that.
Sure.
Quality control in those factories, they either retired or they quit. And
so you guys were losing your connections because people were just moving on or whatever. Yeah, okay.
And it's crazy because you think that's not a big deal. COVID did affect things, but in Roswell, it's already affecting us. We call it Timbuktu because we're in the middle of nowhere. And by the time...
We're the destination for other people in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. They want to get away from the big cities.
That's right.
And like a lot
we
of
got 4 McDonald's. What's up?
But a lot of our inventory comes from like El Paso, Albuquerque.
Sure.
And, that transit, whenever they do that swap, is when a lot of product gets damaged.
Sure.
And I'm tired of telling my customers, just my individual customers, hey, it got damaged.
Sure.
You got 20, 30 jobs going at once and you don't have that product in stock. Sure. It's a big problem.
Absolutely. Well, and that's just it. They're not going to be mad at your suppliers. They're going to be mad at you. That's your reputation that they're, when they don't care that you're dealing with the 17 different hurdles here. They're like, I want my house to look the way I want it to look, and it's your fault. And even though it's not, that's not how they see it. So so that's what you guys are dealing with, and that kind of thing is no matter what, you're the bad guy.
So the other thing on that, Mike, is that maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago, a customer would be happy to wait. They would plan their flooring. They plan it for the fall. They plan it for Christmas, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
We got company coming for all the holidays. Exactly. I got to get it ready.
And they start coming shopping in summer. And it'd be 4 or 5 trips before they say, okay, I'm ready to make a decision. But customers now, they've done their online shopping.
Sure, they do their homework.
They've done their
a little
research,
bit.
their due diligence. They want when they come into the store, they've got 99% of an option of knowing of what they're going to buy.
Sure.
So that's why we got to act quickly. We want to have stock quickly. We want to have everything fast.
They're ready to move. You have to be ready to move with them.
That's it. So it's not a different customer, but a different mindset these days we have.
But, and like you said, this gives you the advantage. Where I imagine there's other businesses that do similar things that you do that don't have the warehouse, the ability to house material. So they're ordering piecemeal as the jobs come in. And like you said, with that, sure, if you're lucky and they just happen to have it in their warehouses and a guy that can get it to people, then it's going to happen in a timely fashion. But you all live in the same world I do. You're lucky to get things. Oh, it's on back order. It's on this. There's the factory ain't fired back up in Pengo or wherever this stuff is going on at.
And what we're finding too is that people want it today, not 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now.
And I think that's just a society change. The internet life is smaller.
Right.
Everything's on your fingertips. That's our mindset now. We have the patience of gnats nowadays. And so and rather than give people lessons on good things come to those who wait, you're like, now we're going to try to as fast as humanly possible get this job done and get it ready for you. I'm kind of curious about, because that's a cool way to do it, but because you do work in an industry too where there's trends in fashion, so to speak. Your industry is just like clothes. 1 minute stucco's awesome, the next minute people are like, or whatever. It's like, oh, I want shag carpet 1 minute. No. Now I want ceramic tile or whatever the latest trend in wood flooring or wood-like flooring is or something like that. And so I imagine for you guys, it's great for you to help customers, but I imagine sometimes too, it's like, okay, styles, tastes are changing. We need to kind of shift supplies or shift our stock here a little bit. Is that a constant battle for you guys too a little bit?
It is. The beautiful thing about us is we do volume. And we flip. We've done 70 house flips, over 70 house flips in Roswell alone. So if we don't sell it to the customer, we're going to use it.
Sure. Someone will and that's just it. It's and yes, there's trends and there's fashions, but there's also timeless. You know what I mean? Like a wood floor is a wood floor. I don't care what generation you are.
Exactly.
You love a wood floor. You know what I mean? And that's so I guess a lot of that too is like now. a wood floor is never going out of style.
No.
There's going to be people, ceramic tile, there's always going to be demand for a tile floor, things like that. Maybe shag carpet, people are like, well, unless I'm getting a van, I'm not putting on the walls of the van, I don't need that right now. You know what I mean? But so I imagine a lot of you just plan accordingly. That's part of knowing the business and saying, look, I got to stock up on this wood, this thing. We'll keep a little bit of this certain laminate or this certain thing for some people, but it's not as popular as thing X, whatever it is.
And we keep different things, bright colors. Like we're buying a lot of different bright colors for businesses because they're trending towards that in the business industry.
Gotcha.
They want bright, like happy colors.
That makes sense. I never thought of it that way until you said it, but decorating, or we'll just go with decorating. Decorating a business is not the same as decorating a home because you're not trying to evoke the same feeling, and so because who wants to go home and say it looks like a hospital in here?
Talking of decorating a business, I'd encourage anyone to come into the store and see how light and beautiful the showroom is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Well, see, and that's the fun part. Yeah, we were talking about you need it now and everyone's doing their homework.
Yeah.
Don't forget the fun part of doing this. Walking around like, ooh, I like this one. Ooh, I hate that one. This one's awesome. Yeah. That's the fun part of picking this stuff is touching it, seeing it, comparing it to other things. That'll look good together. That's the fun part. This is the cool part of this whole planning and getting a new room or a new look for your home.
You know how they can Photoshop everything online?
Yeah.
You see a color and then you get it and you're like, that looks nothing.
It doesn't look right.
No.
Yeah. And we have so much on the floor. We have a huge selection.
Yeah. And you get to see it. You get to see the textile, the material.
Touch it, feel
it. Feels solid.
Yeah.
It doesn't, a picture, you don't necessarily feel all that. And you get, how many Temu shoppers out there go and get those tents and they're like, wait a minute, that's not what I thought it was.
So I just want to do a bit of a rewind because we did introductions.
I know, but we kind of got screwed up, and I'm knocking on wood. I think it's fixed. We'll find out here when we're done talking to you guys.
So Jason and Jennifer are husband and wife, married for
21 years.
21 years.
Who's the boss? He's been married 21 years. I'm 23, and that's not even a hesitation. Yeah, I know.
So, born and raised in Roswell.
Okay.
And a husband and wife owned company as well. It's kind of rare. And I think that's something that we should promote as well.
Well, and that's the beauty of family, and this is where I imagine the service side goes. This is where it changes. When it's a family business and everybody knows everybody, sure, there's going to be days where you're like, man, these guys bicker different. But it's because
it's not really bickering. It's our conversation.
It's a level above that.
It's because they're family. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you look at this as our family name's on the line. I'll be darned if I'm going to tarnish that.
Right.
And we're going to make sure that when people walk in here, they're going to leave and feel happy with what they chose to do with whether we got them a thing or not. They're going to be happy with what their service and what they got here.
And you can talk to our customers, and a lot of our customers will say, I feel like an extension of your family, because even our employees, we always try to tell them,
sure,
if you work with us, you essentially are our family.
And I think that's how, especially in towns like this, where you get, because that's where the trust, the loyalty, you look at some of our legacy businesses, your Roswell Seeds out there, very much the same model you guys are talking about right here. They're family. They're people, they're at Thanksgiving looking at each other. They're at the office looking at each other. They're at home on the weekends looking at each other.
And they still get along.
That's right. That's amazing. And that's you guys. That's what I'm sure you have your days like, I'm going to ring you.
And the only time we don't see ourselves is when we're sleeping.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we had Thanksgiving, so we actually sit down at the table together and just look at each other's faces. Rest, it's memos, emails. Did you get that? Did you do that?
There's a space for corporations in small town America, but we're not a faceless corporation. You will see us in the community.
Yeah.
You will see the family vibe.
But at the same time, it's like you planned for the big business.
Level.
Or availability to the customer.
Yeah.
The part that the customer wants. That I want it now. I want it in this color, and I want it. You've got that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, okay, if I want to change something, I ain't got to go through the gauntlet of red tape and this and that to do this or whatever. I just call up and say, hey, do you got a thing a slightly different color? I like that better. So whatever it is you're doing, and and you're talking to real people in the house. And their family, so, at some point they'll be like, oh, did you get that thing for someone? Why did you do that, dummy? Come on, go do it. And that's the business, the professionalism and everything that you want when it comes to getting an end product, but at the same time that local customer, I can walk in, Cheers. For you older folks know the TV show Cheers. That vibe where you just walk in and everybody knows your name kind of thing.
So we need you to come in and we call you Norm, okay?
Oh, there you go. You get a bar stool I can sit up on.
Definitely,
Every time you walk in.
The counters are tall enough we can put a bar stool there.
Although
we have a mailman, we need to start calling him Cliff. Though.
I was about to say, in the big scope of things, I'm more of a Cliff than a Norm. I'm going to be the guy that walks in and give you that useless fact you really didn't want to know.
You know, this is going over Ethan's head. He has no idea what he's talking about.
I'm sure one of the streaming services has Cheers you can marathon on at one time. It's a pretty good show.
Paramount Plus, but I'm not advertising.
and then you can get in the arguments whether you like Shelley Long or Kirstie Alley. He's like, who and who? Absolutely. So let me ask, like trends and things right now. What's kind of the more popular stuff people are looking for when it comes to in the home? I mean, is there certain trends right now, or the latest gig thing is this? You know, what kind of people wanting right now?
You want me to? Like on tile, you have your Talavera tiles, Santa Fe, bright colors.
Okay.
It's crazy that we've been doing even like ceramics with inlays.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just real popular because we have a lot of Santa Fe style homes around
Sure.
here.
Well, we are in New Mexico.
Mhm.
People are going to want Southwest decor and things. That's not weird.
And at first, I mean, I'm a simplest. Like I just like basic colors.
Sure.
And we've been working for clients and even older clients, 60s, 70s, 80s. They're doing bright colors, and I never seen that before.
Gotcha.
Like a lot of the 60s, 70s, 80s colors are kind of making a return.
Some of those oranges and browns and greens.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Nice, man. I wish I had that olive drab refrigerator that you
It's
couldn't
coming
break if
back.
you wanted to.
It's coming back.
Well, if they make them the same, then I'm all in. That's the thing is, you buy a refrigerator in the 60s, that thing's still working.
Yeah.
You buy one today, 2 years later, oh man, I got to replace this or I got to get that. So, but anyway, another story, another time.
For real.
So now that makes me think, because sometimes like chefs, they'll cook up these fancy deals and they eat mac and cheese. You know what I mean? So now I'm kind of like,
what's in your home?
Are you you're like, I do all this stuff, but I like white walls, like are you very simple compared to what you do for other people?
No, we've been doing stuff in our own homes, like our flips and stuff that's been more bold.
Yeah.
And testing it and, working with realtors for as long as we have, they keep us on that cutting edge of and I listen to them.
Sure.
They pay our bills.
Well, and because again, it's the ear to the ground. Real estate agents are the ones walking around with people looking for certain things. They're going to be pretty good resources on what people want right now because they're finding it for people. That's what they do. So yeah, it makes sense for you to tap into those kind of things. And I imagine same thing with even just some of the contractors and stuff is just hey, we're getting a lot of steam for this right now or this and that. And so you guys kind of have to be. I mean, you're listening, but at the same time, you got to read the tea leaves a little bit and say, okay, we're starting to see the trends go this way. I need to maybe stock up more on this type of material or this particular thing.
It's like when a customer comes in, it used to be, like 10 years ago, it used to be people would pick their paint first.
Mm-hmm.
And, you might think I'm biased because I have a flooring company. We have a flooring company, but now it's like, I don't know if it's just because we've been doing the store, but we pick the floor first. That's your biggest space, right?
Sure.
That's your biggest square footage. And picking that, then you can pick different and do like maybe one accent wall,
Well, and this is from my own brain. Like you walk into someone's home or you walk into a new facility you've never been into, the walls aren't, unless the walls are just over the top crazy.
Yeah.
Generally you're seeing the floor first, especially if it's a wood floor or something of character or, that's the first thing you notice. Like how many times you walk in, like even Lincoln, you're walking in, ooh, creaky floors. Look at that, it's the first thing you notice. I stayed at the lodge in Cloudcroft for my anniversary just this past weekend. And the old wooden floors and and they have, by the way, they have some of the most beautiful carpet. I'm not in a world where I'm like ready to put carpet. I'm like, if I'm going to go carpet, whatever's in this hotel room, this old thick carpet to keep the creaking down is good stuff.
It is. You got your nylons and it's crazy the products they had back in the day.
But you're right. That's the stuff. I think you're right. You don't think about it till you think about it, and it's like, I think you do. Kind of the floor, kind of. I mean, unless the walls are just like some weird mosaic, and you're like, whoa, what is going on here? But if you're just decorating and you got your brown or gray or white walls or whatever it is, and sure, the only time is when you put floor-like textures on the wall. That's when you see it. When you see these decorators and they'll take wood floors and make a wall out of it, something like it. That's when you notice it.
Continued flow.
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of going back to what's trending is we kind of have more people going in for the wood floors. Because like back the past, decade, it's been more of the vinyl.
It looks like wood.
Yeah,
sure.
The fake look.
Well, and in all fairness, vinyl's a lot cheaper than wood flooring. So for people that want wood, but you're like, I can't afford wood, vinyl's a great option for you here. But like you said, people are like, no, I want the traditional. Because how many times you watch those HGTV shows, the remodel shows, and every time they're ripping up some vinyl or some carpet, and there's this beautiful hardwood floor sitting under there, and you're like, what is wrong with these people?
But it could have been a rental. It preserved those floors.
Yeah,
it worked,
Yeah, exactly. So that makes sense. And again, that's kind of what we're saying earlier. It's tried and true. There's never going to be a time in our history, I think, unless we get to Mars and all that, and we're all living in bubbles and stuff. But where wood floors are not going to be something people desire and crave in their home because, because it's everything. To me, wood floor, you can go with the ultimate high-end class to basic work-a-day every day with a wood floor works. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty.
We'll put the first wood floor down on Mars, Mike. Don't worry.
There you go. Maybe that's the Kennedy. We will have a wood floor on the moon by the end of the decade.
You never know.
You never know.
We just got to get it up there.
Absolutely. So, like, for folks that are maybe planning a thing, like, say I'm a customer and I say, I'm going to remodel a bedroom here or something. Like, what's the first? Just walk in and just tell you guys this is what I'm doing, and then you can kind of go from there and say, okay, let's plot and plan. What are you trying to do? What's the rest of the room look like? Then we can go.
You want to get colors and stuff like that because everybody has a preference. Some people like
Sure.
grays and stuff like that. Some people
you get 10
like,
people in a room, you get 10 different options on what they like. Yeah, it's
And
just
sometimes people don't even know what they want.
Yes.
Sometimes they come in, what are you looking for?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know
Trying
yet.
to find out what their budget
unless
is.
you're well versed on the entire world of flooring, that's probably most of us. You're thinking, well, in my head I got something, but then I saw this and it just changed everything.
Yes,
I was
that
thinking.
happens.
Yeah.
They're not educated on it
Right.
either.
And who would be? I mean, who's going to spend nights studying wood floor unless that's your thing? You know what I mean? I mean, what are you going to do? I was going to read up on ceramic tile.
It's true though. It's true.
Listen to you guys. I don't think most people are going to be doing that kind of thing.
It's true. I've been in business and construction a long time, and I didn't know there was first, second, and third quality flooring.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It makes
a lot
sense.
of people don't know that.
But you just say it makes sense because, especially if the material, like if it's a tree and it's wood, and the wood maybe doesn't have the appeal of pleasing, it's got knots in it or certain, then that's going to be a lower grade than maybe one that has less knots or more. I don't know what the
It
standard is.
does make sense though because vehicles are the same first, second, third quality.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
it comes with the best or
Well,
the less.
a Chevy Corvette is way different than a Chevette.
It's the same with flooring. Like Jason said, there's first, second, and thirds, and a lot of people don't realize that. So it's the quality of the product.
Sure.
And we ask a lot of questions.
Yes.
So when
Yeah.
customers come in, we have to ask those questions
Sure.
to see where are you putting the material because they might think they want one thing, but they don't know it doesn't work.
Yeah,
right
then
in
you're
that
kind of
space.
saying,
Right.
pretty wise, but functionality, this is not going to work. I recommend you do. It'll create the look you're wanting, but it'll serve a function now, and that's where your expertise comes in. And said, where they have the vision, whether it's all right, I want Whoville, I want the floor with polka dots and all this other thing. It's like, okay, great, but maybe we do it this way because then it won't look like But that's where you come in and your expertise. Everyone has the vision, and then you have and it's getting back to what you're saying. If you don't know, you don't know. You're like, I want wood floor, and then you're like, wait a minute, this is just like wood floor, but a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And this works in my budget better.
Right.
Let's go in that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always say, you get what you pay for, and that's in everything in life. And it's true with materials. Lesser material is not going to have the durability of something that's thicker. You know, a wood floor it's no different. Now that's not being said you can't have a great, beautiful look, but when you think about it, say, look, this floor is only going to get you about 10 years, and then it's just that's the shelf life of it. But as long as you know that, and you can have a beautiful floor, and then you say, all right, well, and to be honest, that gives you an excuse because if you're kind of families, the idea is your families, you grow, you get better job, you make more money. You know what I mean?
Then
That's
you want
part
to
of it.
change.
And
You're 10 years down the road.
So you have the vinyl floor year one, and you're like, all right, now we can afford wood, you know, or whatever that, or ceramic, or whatever you want to go with that. And that's the beauty of it. So okay, maybe the first time Allison's here put in that vinyl floor for you, but now 10 years later, we got some promotions, we got some kids, and we love this house. We're gonna put wood in, or we're gonna put something else in here. We're gonna put higher end materials or quality stuff that, and it's true. And this is a life lesson for anybody young. You get what you pay for. Yes, things may be more expensive sometimes, but and then the trade-off is it really? Because if it's good for 30 years and you just spent half that 3 times in that same amount of time, is it really more expensive? Right. I mean, that's the way you got to look at it.
And we do remind customers too that flooring, it is an investment.
Sure.
But I mean, you get that back.
Well, that's
you
what
get
I'm saying.
that back. You wear and tear on your floor. You live on your floor. It needs to last.
Put it this way: you try to sell your home, and you've got worn-out carpeting or flat floor that just looks like it's seen better days, and then you replace it with brand new stuff. I'm telling you, it's going to add value to your home.
Could totally change the look of your home.
Next thing you know, your house appraises for another $10,000 higher or something because of the flooring. It does make a huge difference. It's, talk to real estate agents, curb appeal, all that stuff is vital. Sometimes the little things you can do to your home, and Allison's can help with that stuff, might make it to you just, oh, good, I got an extra 10, 20 grand on my offer on my home because of that. And that's everything that is investment back into your home and all that. Think about those things. When it comes to home improvement projects or anything like that, there are investments into you. Just like it's no different than when we have our lenders on and we're saying buy, don't rent. Your investment This is no different when it comes to home improvement. Same kind of thing. If you're thinking about changing that ugly carpet or swapping out that ceramic tile that looked nice in 1987.
It's coming back, though. It's coming back.
Yeah, don't go fool around like, hey, it's popular again. Art Deco, it's good.
So I don't know what the reach of the radio station is, but our reach for flooring and JC construction isn't just Roswell. We love Roswell.
Okay.
But commercially, which is what I focus on.
Sure.
We'll do Carlsbad. We'll do Ruidoso. We'll do Artesia.
All of the Pecos Valley, basically.
All the Pecos Valley. We've even done, in the past, Hobbs and Lovington, the Lee Medical Center. So we've done those jobs. I know for the residential, we've definitely done Carlsbad and Artesia. We've done Ruidoso. And I think Jason's been out to Alto.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see.
A bunch, yeah.
So pretty much all of southeastern Mexico, from the lowest of the desert to the highest of the mountains, and everything in between.
So we're not just here for Roswell, but we're also here for the surrounding communities.
Absolutely. And again, that's, and this is, again, about stability, family. If you're, and this is we're talking about here. We're talking about businesses. Let's face it, it's grown, but, in terms of what people think, relatively new. Growing because of, you replaced George. People like after so many years, you're still the new guy, even though it's been a few years. You got it's always the case. And when there's a bunch of old people, even if you've been there 20 years, you're still the new guy. And you're like, dang, will someone new come in? So I'm stop being the new guy.
But we bring a lot to the table because he is a commercial contractor too.
Sure.
So he's got all the licensing for that. So that's why we cover everything from residential to commercial.
And that works well when you know other aspects of a project. So like if you're focusing on flooring, but you happen to know, okay, I know a little bit of wall work, and that's going to be a problem here on this side later on down the road. So, and that's where that expertise can come in, because you might save an oops or a uh-oh, before it happens. Which does happen quite a bit in that world. Somebody did, especially if there's multiple facets of people doing multiple things in there. You got your floor guys in there, next thing you know, you got the window people in there, and they're like, all right, that didn't jive. The cabinet people did not jive with the floor people here and all that. So you got to deal with that kind of stuff from time to time.
So while I'm here, I want some free advertising because
all right,
we're paying for this, I know.
The salespeople tell me, I just say, go on in. I know nothing.
So I want to, if anyone from Main Street, any of the businesses from Main Street, from Southeast Maine all the way to North Maine are listening, come in, give us a call.
Sure.
We'll bring out. We even bring out samples, and we'll make 2 or 3 trips to bring different samples and talk you through the differences between the different types of flooring, even the differences between a 10 mil wear layer, a 20 mil wear layer. Getting technical when it comes to luxury vinyl, we'll come out and we'll help you find the right project.
Absolutely.
Right
And the great part is, you like you said, you come out to them, so you can put it on the wall and say, "See, look at," or put on the floor in this case.
We can do.
You know what I mean?
Tile for the wall, yeah.
I'm used to not bending over, so I'm like, "Yeah, come look up here." But yeah, absolutely. And of course, you can go to the website and you can kind of see like some of these other projects and things. And see the work that they did in Hobbs and Ruidoso.
You talk about the website, Mike, as well. So a lot of our manufacturers, the big manufacturers like Shaw and Mohawk and Candine, they all have these. I can't remember the name of the app, but it's like a room visualizer app.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can kind of like virtually build the room with your, I want the wood floor here, and I want the duck on the wall here.
So instead of reading an encyclopedia about ceramic tile every night, you can just download your photo or upload your photo, and then just put it on the app and like, does light look good? Does medium look good? Does dark look good?
Yeah. And so you can get a real perspective of what the big picture.
And you know what's
like
cool about that? You get the lighting in the house. In your business, it's actually it's a perfect picture.
So like
of
the lamps and like set up the way you have it, it'll give you a true lighting picture.
That flooring goes down, you can actually see what it looks like in your home.
Let's do a time lapse. So it's like, 4 in the afternoon is gonna look like this. 2 in the afternoon is gonna look like this.
We gotta bring that up to them.
8 o'clock at night is gonna look like this. It might be interesting that way. See, it looks good in the afternoon and in the morning. So, but and by the way, the possibilities in flooring is growing we talk about the big one, wood flooring, but there's so many different materials and ways that you can create expensive looks and not spend a bunch of money doing it. Those possible and get the quality too, because we were talking about sacrificing quality, but some of these materials, some of these laminate flooring and stuff, that they're going to last a long time. And they're half the price sometimes as some of your...
And on that as well, these guys went to the Abbey Flooring Convention. Abbey's like our umbrella company.
I was like, because if you go to the website, you see Abbey's carpet, and then you see, Allison's home.
Right.
And so I'm like, we'll just call it all of the above. It's just good. They're the one on second. Go there.
So Abbey is the company based out of Georgia where all the floors, the majority of floors.
Okay, so that's kind of like the franchise, and Allison's is kind of under the umbrella of it, so to speak.
You could say
Makes
that,
sense.
So
you get the big part of their thing.
Yes.
So when you need the big materials and all that, you got their umbrella, but at the same time, we're local, we're mom and pop. We can do the service that a mom and pop does.
So they went to, I think it was Vegas for the flooring convention earlier this year, and the push was on sustainability.
Okay.
That's a big push.
Especially with the younger buyers.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Is it ecologically sound?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, people care. Well, and that's again, the times have changed. As the younger folks here, they tend to be a little bit more conscious about that than some of our generations were. Right. And so they're like, hey, is this material good for the planet? Is it recycled stuff? Is it going to last 100 years? One day we'll find the thing that you can recycle 37 times over, is beautiful, lasts forever. And that perfect thing that never dulls or tarnishes, we'll get it one day. Right. Until then, we'll just recycle and do all this. But so if you're looking for that type of because most of us I like the blue one. You know what I mean?
It's funny because we have customers come in and the guys will sit down and just give us dirty looks while the wife's picking out stuff.
Sure. We keep her on the cheaper ones, please.
I didn't do
Don't take her to the most expensive.
See, this one looks just like that one. It's $20 cheaper.
We can't lie to them, though. We have to tell them the truth. What's the best?
Or we're like, what do you think? Oh, to my wife.
Well, this is where you got to get to the guy brain on it. It's like, look, if I put this in now, you won't have to see me for another 30 years.
Exactly.
All right? If you bit this one, I'm back in 10.
Yep. And you want to keep peace at home.
Yeah, but please come on by.
Come to the store. If you don't know where we are, look for the big dog.
Yes,
the big dog, the huge dog,
right there on West Second.
Yeah,
his name's Allie.
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 Allie Allison.
Man.
Yep.
So if you just hit an Allison and an Abby or an Allie, you're going to find somebody that's going to answer to the name.
Just look for the big red doors down. That's it.
Yeah. Very good. But and then of course, come and maybe this is the thing. Maybe you're thinking about it. Like you said, most people just on the moment just say, "All right, let's remodel the house."
And
Grab
the
the
important thing
paintbrush.
is we have prices for everybody from the lower end
Sure.
to the high end.
Exactly.
And we carry our products that way too, because everybody can't afford the same budget.
Exactly.
And that's important to let people know out there, come and see us.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's like, say if you're growing with a house, okay, I get it. You can't afford the high dollar wood floor. I'd love to too, but that ain't in the budget. But you know what? I can get something that looks just as nice and functions just as nice, and about half the price there. Like I said, the big difference was that wood floor is probably going to last 20, 30 years longer than this other one. You'll be back, but again, you're going to have a beautiful floor for 10 years or whatever, and I get it. Most people, you're in and out of house 5, unless you get a little older and you're like, all right, this is it, I'm done, we're here. Most of us, as the family grows and changes, your house changes too. You move to bigger and things. So I get it. Sometimes I'm not going to be here 30 years. I don't need 30-year flooring when I'm only going to be here 10 years. You know what I mean? And so we get and understand that. But at
So
the
we
same
have
time,
something for everybody.
absolutely. But then, and of course, and then there's talk about it. But if you put the 30-year flooring in, then when you sell this bad boy, you're going to get that money back when you sell it. And that's the part we're always talking about. It's never bad to invest it. Put the expensive stuff in because, especially in the flooring world, maybe not some other aspects of home improvement, but in flooring, you will get that money back. And especially if you pick the traditionals, the wood, the things that everybody loves. When you don't get your money back is when you get a little funky. And you're like, I chose to use foam for my flooring. And you're like, wow.
Oops. There you go. We see a lot of those. Oops. Yeah.
So you got to think in those terms. But Adrian, I'm going to give out the phone number, the website, give the contactables for people that they want to get in touch.
You're asking me this early in the morning?
Yeah.
Again, this phone number, 575-624-0901, 0901 here in the U.S.
Absolutely. And then you can go online.
The website
I just Googled Allison, so I don't remember what the actual web address is.
Google Allison's Home Supply House.
Yeah, we have 2 websites.
Okay.
One is our Abby dedicated
Okay,
website.
that's maybe the one I may have found.
Yeah,
I
which is
just Googled it.
roswell.abbeycarpet.com.
Good deal. Okay. And then you got Facebook and all that too. I think, right? I remember seeing Facebook.
And then we have a
all
new
that.
website coming. That's our Allison'sHomeSupplyHouse.com, which
Okay.
will encompass everything outside of flooring.
Okay.
Our garage doors, our
So if you need, and by the way, we didn't
cabinetry,
get to that side of things.
Yeah.
Another conversation for another
know,
day.
yes.
Yeah. But that's when I kind of was starting at the beginning. I was like, we think flooring and all that, but like you said, because you've kind of merged this business with what you were doing before, it kind of adds a few more menu options on there, a few more things you can do.
And we're trying to speed the process up where people want it, they want it today.
Sure.
And we're trying to do that. Trying to give that to them.
Or not only that, they want to be in and out in 30 minutes.
Well, sure. Well, and that's the other thing too, is because it does interrupt your life a little bit to rip out your floor and put a new floor in.
Right.
It does take
It's
a
a
little
process.
Yeah, and so
And we
I
explain
get
that
it.
to them too,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't understand when you put something new in, you got to take everything out
Sure.
to install that.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
it's not a pleasant thing all the time.
If you want to see those bad DIY things, those are the people who just throw up slap tile over tile.
Right.
It's got to adhere to something, and if it's adhering to something that's barely adhering to something below that, then guess what's going to happen?
No, it's like yesterday we're on that project, and they paid a lot of money for it. They used clear silicone to put brick over the tile on the fireplace.
Ooh.
And it falling off, it almost killed their dog.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sometimes DIY is better left to the professionals. You got to know when to stop.
You won't get that from us. We don't practice.
Exactly.
We already know.
We
so.
just No, he was doing that long before you're married doing that, and then he learned his lesson.
Hey, I'm already in trouble.
I was like,
now you're doing it to me in front of my mother-in-law.
But she's like, yeah, I saw it.
We'll talk later.
That's right.
So we're open 8 till 5:30 Monday through Friday. We're open on Saturdays as well.
Because they come in Saturday morning and walk around.
Yeah, if you want to come in of an evening, I know that we make arrangements to call us.
Okay, make an appointment. We can do that.
Yeah.
I get it. You work schedules, and if you can get the family together to make decisions on things, and it's 6:00 at night, that's what we'll do. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Did we get everything? I mean, we got a good start anyway. Get everything out there.
Yes.
I apologize for having computer issues. It kind of made the flow. I am a little bit more professional in this, I promise. Not much, but a little bit.
But yeah, we'd love to come back. And you touched on garage doors.
Yeah, let's talk things more. Not on the floor.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yep. Just raise it a level.
We'll talk about the walls and the garages and the other aspects that we can help you out with too here. But again, and if you can't wait, go to the website, stop by the store. They'll be telling you. They'll be happy to talk to you all about that too. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm sure since you're all here, there's no one manning the fort, so you probably need to get back to the.
We got plenty.
Like 4 people.
Yeah, we got 4 really good sales associates.
That's right. Well, when you got a lot of warehouses, you got a lot of people to maintain.
We have a
and
great team. On both sides of construction and
the installers and everything in between. Again, like that family you're talking about.
It's not about I, it's about we.
Sure. And I imagine that helps you keep your employees.
Yes.
Like people are happy. People are happy where they work. They're going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people, you want to know a good company? Watch when they have their meetings and you see a bunch of people saying, this person's been here 20 years, 30 years. I was like, people don't hang around bad places doing that. And so when you got people, they've been with us 10 years. They've been, that's proof that that's a pretty good place. That people hang when they like it.
Yeah.
So, very good. Well, thank you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it is 8:53. I got to make up a bunch of commercials I was supposed to play earlier and couldn't because the computer was being ornery. So not quick commercial break, and then some news at some point. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Thank you, Mike.
We teach our kids to say please and thank you to total strangers, but we get so familiar in our marriages and families, we stop being polite to each other. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and my wife, Miss Julie Smotherman, for The Joy of Marriage.
In the love chapter of 1 Corinthians 13, it says that love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. We emphasize being polite to each other in our family, which promotes an attitude of respect and brings peace in our home. Remember your manners with the person you love the most. Appreciate the things they do for you and let them know.
Being polite to each other can help you avoid conflict. Let's be polite to strangers, but let's not give our best to the people we don't live with. Let's give our best to each other.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
This is a nasty little termite. It loves nothing better than to eat your house, your subfloors, your walls, around your windows, and then they swarm around taunting you.
We're eating your house. We're eating your house.
You'd like to kill them, wouldn't you? But you don't want trenches dug around your home, and you don't want holes in your foundation. That's where Dow AgroSciences and the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System come to the rescue. The same system that protects the White House can help protect your house. An authorized operator strategically places Centricon stations around your house and then carefully monitors them for termites. If they're found, a professional inserts bait tube devices. The termites take the bait and they die.
I feel like I'm dying.
Kind of like that, only a lot more effective. In fact, Centricon is proven to eliminate the termite colony. Termites are gone with Centricon. No more colony, no more problem. Visit Centricon.com.
Call Bob Reed Pest Control today for all of Southeast New Mexico. 575-623-5344.
Do you love your car? Yes. Well, Roswell Hyundai wants to help you keep your current car with a lower payment. Introducing Refi with Hyundai. Roswell Hyundai wants to help you refinance your current vehicle with rebates and discounts to lower your payment. If you're ready to upgrade, Roswell Hyundai has a fresh inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles with special financing available regardless of your credit with I-10 accepted. Don't forget, all new Hyundais come with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty and 3 years of free oil changes. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do. Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla Espanol.
Who doesn't think the dentist is a big deal? I know what you're thinking. What will they find? How much will it hurt? What are my options? Hi, this is Dr. Sarah Usher, and I am here to tell you that here at Carabelli Dental, it is our job to put you at ease. With options like sedation dentistry, you can rest assured that regardless of what dental work you might need, you can get it done while resting comfortably. Call our office now and speak to our knowledgeable staff about setting up your new patient appointment.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental or call 575-622-4455.
When you're healthy, you can do amazing things. We're all about that. Because if you don't have access to health insurance through your work, or you just lost Medicaid, Be Well can connect you to the right health plan for you, your family, and your budget. We want to make your life a little easier, worry-free, and healthier. Because your health is everything. Be strong, be adventurous, and be amazing. Be Well. New Mexico's health insurance marketplace. Learn more at BeWellNM.com.
It's hot, and Maze Lumber in Roswell is your BioGuard headquarters for your swimming pool. Maze is your headquarters for chlorine, including pool generators, and Soft Swim by BioGuard for your non-chlorine products. Maintain your pool this summer the right way for a season full of smiles instead of headaches. Let your pool sparkle all summer long with Maze Lumber, 115 South Virginia in Roswell.
You can count on Maze Lumber Company.
Are bugs eating your garden and mosquitoes chasing you back in the house? Ask yourself, what would Jim Gill do?
This is John from Roswell Seed. You know, we've been battling bugs in Roswell since 1898. And if Jim was here, he'd draw on his immense knowledge and send you home with the right stuff. Chase the bugs out of your garden and the mosquitoes out of your yard.
Don't give the bugs a head start. Head for Roswell Seed Company and find out, what would Jim Gill do?
It's possible to turn peanut butter into diamonds. Peter Pan tried it with his buddy Skippy, but they couldn't do it in a jiff. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 8:59. I think I've got my computer mostly back there. I apologize for the problems we had. It was pretty weird because the computer just kind of it was like froze but not froze, if that makes sense. It kind of just, it semi-worked, but then I couldn't like play or highlight a new audio or anything like that. It was very weird. So now it seems to be working. So matter of fact, I'm going to do something here because it doesn't seem to boot it up everything. Let me try this. I'm trying to do some more on the fly. I know it's already running. I'm trying to stop it from running. All right. Okay, now it's going. Sorry, I'm still working with the computer. It's not quite. Oops. I'm also working with a goofy mouse. So I just need to do it once. There we go. Well, it says it's already running. All right, we're going to get you into Town Hall News here in just a minute. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
After the CBS invitation to debate on the 1st of October. The VP debate will take place 3 weeks after the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, and as early voting in some states gets underway for the general election. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Americans were in more of a buying mood last month.
U.S. retail sales increased 1% from June to July after having declined slightly the previous month. Auto dealers, electronics, and appliance stores, as well as grocery stores, all reported strong gains. Adjusted for inflation, sales rose about 0.8%.
Correspondent Jeremy House says retail spending was up by the most in 18 months. Wall Street is pleased. The benchmarks have been sharply higher this morning. Looks like it could be a rough weekend weather-wise on Bermuda.
Currently, Hurricane Ernesto is located northeast of the Turks and Caicos, east of Bahamas. Currently moving north at 13 miles per hour. And on the forecast track, it's forecast to move towards Bermuda, where hurricane warning was issued this morning at 5 a.m. And then should approach Bermuda on Saturday.
Larry Kelly at the National Hurricane Center. Ernesto, not expected to have much, if any, impact on the east coast of the U.S. Number of people applying for jobless benefits dropped last week, falling 7,000 from the week before to 227,000. And watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 401 points for a gain of 1%. The Nasdaq ahead 318 points, and the S&P is up 67. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody
Our government
wants
is
cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Fresh peace talks aimed at ending Sudan's 16-month war have started, but neither of the warring sides has entered the bargaining room.
In a call to the head of the Sudanese army and the de facto leader of the country, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, Anthony Blinken stressed the need to end the devastating conflict. Diplomatic efforts to silence the guns have so far failed. The army has boycotted the latest talks, but delegates from the paramilitary, the RSF, are in Geneva. The army said the RSF should withdraw from urban centers it controls for peace talks to happen. It has also objected to the presence of the United Arab Emirates as an observer. It had previously accused the Emirati authorities of backing the RSF, something they deny.
The BBC's Kalkadan Vittel. Well, it might sound improbable, but Europe is still importing Russian natural gas through pipelines that run through Ukraine. News and analysis at townhall.com. Google has taken the wraps off its next-gen Pixel phones.
The launch provides the maker of Android software a head start on the next iPhone in the race to bring more artificial intelligence services to devices that have become people's constant companions. The showcase occurred 2 months earlier than the company typically rolls out the next models in its Pixel phone lineup, and Google left little doubt that the Pixel 9 phones are meant to be a vessel for the AI technology that's expected to reshape society.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Arizona's Supreme Court has ruled that an informational pamphlet for voters can refer to an unborn child as an unborn human being. Language will be used in the description for a November ballot measure. It would guarantee the constitutional right to an abortion in Arizona. The justices siding with Republican lawmakers over proponents of the ballot measure. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. Welcome to hour number 3. Of Mornings with Mike Winters right here at 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
I love that. Good morning.
Sure it's not Monday. I'm just saying this computer has been, like even there, like when I said it rebooted, it partially rebooted. There was half of it, so I had to reboot again, hence that dead part. And then they kept saying, it's already running. No, it's not. And then it finally started working, so I apologize. But me and computers are like oil and water. We're just not mixing today.
Well, and here's the other thing, too, and I pointed this out to Roy. This computer gets maybe like rebooted or restarted once every, couple of months, maybe 3 months.
I'm pretty sure I was in high school last time that thing was
it doesn't get turned off because it's the lifeblood of our radio station.
It's on 24/7 because it is the station. When you're listening to Clay and Buck, when you're listening to Hannity, when you're listening to Levin, when you're listening to Clyde Lewis, when you're listening to Armed American Radio, this computer flips you over to that.
Yep.
Plays the brakes and does all that.
That's right. These are the breaks. Break it up.
In case you didn't know, Clay and Buck do not work out of this studio.
No.
Nor does Clyde Lewis.
I would be impressed if they did that every day. They just hop on a plane and be like, all right, off to do the Roswell show.
That's right. Of course, they'd have to get that Harry Potter clock thing because they're on simultaneously on about 200, 300, I don't know how many stations.
I'm going to break some hearts right now. So what happens is when a radio station syndicates, what they do is they send their production people a series of opens wherein the host, in the case that I'm thinking of, Ryan Seacrest, will say your station's name and call letters.
Yes. They sit him in a room and he says about 50 million of those.
Right. And then the job of the production person is to take the track that they get from Seacrest's people.
Some guy like us.
And me. And marry it to the station identification so it seamlessly sounds like he's just talking out of that station.
Yeah, and I hate to burst your bubble when you listen to these music stations. And it's like, hi, I'm Trace Atkins. Hi, I'm... Blah, blah, blah.
Shut your mouth. Okay, we did my thing. You shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and stop showing all the sausage making. I'll fight you. I'll fight you in the field.
Yeah, just saying. They just sit in rooms and do this stuff. So, my favorite station is...
You're killing me over here, Winters.
The Bear 102.
Trust the 3-step process. It's not just some guy going beginning, middle, end. No, I actually got Trace Atkins in here. This is my station.
Right. So yes, Well, Jack FM is a thing in a thing of itself.
Yeah, that
like if you want to get real inside baseball, I can talk
Jack
about that.
FM was all inclusive. Really, this station didn't actually have to do much. It just came.
Well,
came
we
as
could
its own
customize
format.
it to our
needs.
needs.
You can customize.
But
it was here's your music lineup. Here's your sweepers. You put your commercial breaks in.
It's it's a DJ because it's and these stations, your Jack FMs, your various ones like Jill. There's a country version, a Jose, a Spanish version. There's a version of it for pretty much every genre.
Yep.
These all started up when your Spotify's and your these started coming into the lexicon because they're competing against that. People turn into radio, especially music radio, as long as the song they like is playing. As soon as the song stinks, they go to another station. That's just how humans do radio. And so to combat some of that, they say, all right, we won't get the talking heads in there. We'll put some station identification stuff in, and that's usually how Jack FM or Bob FM or one of these work. They'll put some witty liners like, we like chicken. Jack FM, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Bob.
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
Hold the mayo.
All those people who put those programming formats together are people. We're moving into an era where AI is slowly but surely taking our jobs.
You get on Spotify now, they have those DJs aren't DJs. They're computers.
Well, here's the thing. It's so funny to me because the DJ's name on Spotify is X. And he's like, it's an urban voice. So he's like, what's up, Sean? It's your personal DJ X.
Too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
They say Sean?
Yeah. Sometimes
they say Cian?
Sometimes they actually say, it's always Sean. They pronounce it right. But what gets me is the way it's like punctuated certain band names. It like will really mess with the programming. Like back in the day, I liked a band called Frickin' A.
Oh, I remember.
Frickin' A? So it was introing.
They have a Christmas album by there.
They
don't
do.
They?
Merry frickin' Christmas. It was introing a song that I had on that playlist. Jesse's Girl, one of the, I don't know what it was, but it said, "We got a couple of songs lined up for you. Just kind of a chill vibe. Frickin' up first." Like it just combined frickin' and A, so it was like frickin' up first. Or SR71 is another band that's in my playlist, and it's like, "I got a great lineup for you of songs that have been kind of in your vibe lately. Senior 71 up first."
Oh, Senior
71. Yep.
You should see how it handles the LMFAO.
Oh. Lumaflow. Lumaflow up first.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing about AI is it's going to take a shot, but it's going to do it full confidence. Full chest confidence.
Like it's been in the room before.
It's going to whiff, but it's going to whiff with a full chest.
Here's Mikhail Jackson with Beat It.
Speaking of full chest confidence, did you see the breakdancing Olympics?
Dude, we talked about it on here. I'm pretty sure Ray Gunn is my new semi-celebrity crush because she's amazing.
I saw a thing a couple times, and I giggled the first time I saw it. Someone took Ray Gunn, the picture of Ray Gunn, stuck it on the back of their SUV, and her leg is the windshield wiper.
That's fantastic.
She's like all freaked out, but her leg goes.
Well, because I didn't catch it until I saw Bluey meme. The leg is supposed to be the tail of the kangaroo.
Oh.
Like, because what they show is a bunch of ray guns hopping through a field on an episode of Bluey, and the tail, or her back leg is the tail.
Oh,
her back leg. We don't have back legs, I know. Her one leg is the tail.
Because we got four.
Her back leg, not to be confused with her front hoof. But she's really, honestly, if you think about it, she's the one who's made the most out of this Olympics.
Well, absolutely.
Like, from the athletic standpoint.
They did the whole breakdancing category. I could not name another breakdancing performance other than Ray Gunn's Australia, whatever that was.
And that's the thing. I think that's why it didn't make the Olympics next time is if it got such a reaction that the only person who's getting any attention is her, it obviously had no...
And then this is where I can kind of see the point of what people are making to a point. Like, get it. She came out there, had fun, and quite frankly, nobody's talked more about breakdancing in 20 years.
It's true.
Since then. However, there are people that have been busting their hump, seriously doing this stuff, and they didn't get to go because this woman conned the Australian government into sending her.
Or, and hear me out, maybe she's the best thing they had. Maybe she was the best one. Like, maybe they had like
big continent. They could have found two other people that could dance better than her in that whole continent. Throw some rattlesnakes in a pit. They'll figure this out.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're running away from spiders that are as big as your neck, chest, and face.
Right.
And so they don't really have time to throw down cardboard and wiki.
I'm just saying that if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
You can dodge a camel spider. You can break dance.
Just saying.
There hasn't been this much attention on breakdancing since the Spinneroonie.
I want to know where Ozone and Turbo are now. And I want to see them. Like, I would have loved to see them come and be announced as they live.
That would have been fantastic.
I have no idea if they're even alive.
Right.
I'm just curious just to see Turbo and Ozone.
Ozone just running clean up afterwards.
Hanging out with Snoop Dogg at the
Olympics.
Maybe they could bring back team dancing. Jabberwockies, stuff like that.
Oh, see, that would be fun. A lot of those, where
is
they
this
do
the Bring It
thing.
On? It's Broughton, and you bring it. It's always Broughton.
Kind of.
Or like So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It had its
Step up to the streets.
That's right. Step up, and then step up to
the streets.
That's a sequel. Not
Step Up 3D. No, they didn't actually go that route.
Because Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo was already taken.
They did, didn't they? I thought there was a 3D.
Was it 3D? That was the big thing. Every movie back in that era, if you made it to 3, you'd made a movie in 3D.
Because nothing I want to see is urban kids breakdancing in 3D.
Yep.
On a video
It
screen.
really would have been great if we'd have gotten Breakin' 3D. I can only imagine Turbo just in my face.
Well, young people, there is a Jaws 3D out there too.
Yes.
It didn't quite make the Jaws the same splash that the original Jaws made.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. So. But then Sharknado hits. So who knew?
But that's bad for the sake of being bad. Like, it's so bad it's good.
Yeah, but it got so bad that they made how many of them? 5, 4,
6 or so.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
And the last one I think was even called "Are We Still Doing This?"
Yeah, I mean,
something like that.
I get it the first time, and maybe a second one. Lightning in a bottle. But when you're doing 6 of these, that shark has done jumped and died. And became fertilizer for something else.
There's a movie that makes that movie look like Citizen Kane, and it's called Birdemic.
Birdemic.
Yes, it's like it's.
Oh, you've never seen Birdemic?
It's so bad, but it's so bad, and yet it has like 3 movies that came out after.
So we just take like every natural disaster slash and just
Hold on,
turn it into a movie.
You know the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong and all that stuff, and the Room probably, right? You know the Tommy Wiseau. And
maybe, I don't know.
Okay,
I failed
wow.
a while.
You know The Room.
So The Room.
I did not hit her.
Birdemic.
I did
Oh,
not.
yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mark. That guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, somehow the Birdemic train is completely past one Mike Winters, because that's something you need to see.
It wasn't
Really?
nearly as
To
popular or
experience.
big.
But he's saying it's god awful. You tell me I need to
it
see
kind of
it.
was.
You don't need to see it. You need to see a clip on YouTube of it to understand how bad it actually is.
But it's not funny bad.
No,
Like, I'm
no,
not gonna-
no.
Yeah. I think it is one of the officially like in the so bad
so
it's
bad
good.
it's good. I don't know.
Genre.
The thing that throws me off is all the birds. The bird scenes are just like standalone stock pictures of birds flapping, but going nowhere. They're just in the middle of the air, just flapping, like they're hovering like a helicopter.
They're like GIFs, like just kind of floating there. GIFs.
And people are like and the birds are just like,
what?
What's happening?
Are they pooping at least?
No, it's like they're just floating there. It's real bad.
My favorite part is when their car breaks down and the guy comes up and it says, "You're gonna sell me some gas."
It's not like one of those werewolf movies where 1 minute the guy's sitting there and then it cuts to the next thing and he's got these hair patches on his face like he's a turn. Like, you ever seen that one?
Oh yeah, with like jump cuts and whatnot. Yeah,
that 70s, boom, and it's like that Sid Marty Krofft era crap. Yeah, that nightmare fuel.
Stop motion was
Yeah. All right, I need to get an interview going. I guess our guest isn't going to be here. There's nobody in the lobby, right?
No.
Okay, so let's get our interview going. I had a backup. We're going to replay our interview we had with Matt Bristol. He joined us on Monday talking sage legal advice, as one does. So we're going to play that for you in a bit. But first, let's get you up to date with the weather and then take a quick commercial break. We'll be back.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Lots of sunshine and pretty hot today, 100 to 105 on the afternoon highs. Overnight looks clear, low 70s. We'll have dry air in place again on Friday with high pressure parked overhead, sunny and 100 to 105. We'll hit about 105 for the afternoon high on Saturday with sunshine. We're expecting low 100s on Sunday and sunny, about the same into Monday. That's your latest forecast. This is meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
From the time Adam and Eve decided to go against God's instruction, there has been discord and a lack of peace in the world. The next beatitude in our series reads like this: "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Throughout the Bible, God would establish covenants or promises with his people. Follow God and you'll find peace. But as humans, with God-given free will, we tend to choose something other than peace. As Christians, we should always seek peace. Peace with God, peace with each other. We should strive to bring people together, not tear them apart. To bring them together with Christ and bring them together with each other as well. Strive to find common ground, not just point out differences. Reconciliation back to what is true and what is right. Coming back to God where true peace comes from, the reconciling grace and forgiveness that only the blood of Christ can bring. That alone can bring us the peace that allows us to be called children of God.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Hey Roswell, summer's winding down, but the deals are still hot during the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at the all-new Roswell Ford. Right now, get crazy low prices on all new Fords and quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. And top dollar for your trade. Stuck in your loan or lease? Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. So you can drive a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for a lot less. For a limited time, get 0% APR and $1,900 in bonus cash on 2024 F-150 trucks. And make no payments for 90 days. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Roswell Ford has partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford with new management and a whole new attitude. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 36 months is $27.78 per thousand. Subject to lender approval through Ford credit. Offers not combined. Sale ends 9/2/24.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla español.
This is Dallas Cowboys football 2024.
Prescott in the gun, runs it up the middle.
Only heard here.
Skinny post, walk in, CeeDee Lamb.
All season.
Pressure up the middle. He's hit. He's sacked by Parsons.
Saturday night, it's your Cowboys and the Las Vegas Raiders. Live from Allegiant Stadium on this Dallas Cowboys radio network station.
Pre-game at 7, kickoff at 8 on your official Dallas Cowboys station, 92.9 The Brand.
If you suffer from Poganophobia, you would not want to attend a party with the following people: Kenny Rogers, Santa Claus, Willie Nelson, the cast of Duck Dynasty, and 2/3 of ZZ Top. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Bristol Law Office, Matt Bristol back with us this morning. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing well. How was your weekend?
It was good. Nice and quiet. Played a little golf tournament with the First Tee folks on Saturday.
Great program.
Great program.
If you're not familiar, they work with youth, basically bringing golf to the youth. And they use it as to get more people interested in the sport of golf. But at the same time, they teach these kids life lessons and skills. And they got kids. I mean, they basically have to build custom clubs because these kids are so little starting golf. They're literally, some of them are just walking. Now they're hitting them with a golf ball.
Well, not quite that small. I did ask what was the minimum age.
Yeah.
And it's basically kindergarten or first grade.
Sure, but it's pretty young.
It's pretty young, yeah. And scarily enough, they don't have plastic clubs at that age.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so.
But they're a great organization.
Great organization. Adrian's been doing it for 19 years.
Yeah, and so yes, if you're golfers out there and looking to find ways to give back to the community, I highly recommend First Tee of Southeast New Mexico.
And they teach character and a lot of good stuff for the kids.
They help create foundations for kids. That's what they do through golf.
And you were teasing Sean, but didn't he have a birthday last week?
He did. He turned the big 4-0.
The big 4-0
last week.
Oh my God! Happy birthday, Sean!
Yeah.
Wherever you are. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's getting older. That's why I made the joke about things change when you get older.
yeah. I wanted to explain that to the audience.
It's all downhill.
He did have the birthday. Yeah. And then you had your anniversary weekend.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
Kind of a busy. So good thing no one booked anything in real important this weekend. Or we didn't. Everyone's.
And you drove through Artesia.
Well, I didn't go through Artesia, but I went that route. I went down 285 and then turned.
Did you go on Highway 13?
Yeah, whatever that road is. That takes you.
Well, there's a cutoff behind the airport, Highway 13.
Okay.
Instead of going down 285.
Okay.
Takes off.
Okay. I didn't think of that one.
Saves a lot of time.
I just went the way I knew and just went and.
Yeah, I like that drive. That's a pretty drive.
It is pretty. It's a very pretty drive, and it's just nice. And then that one, I feel like you see the most change of as it's like dirt. All right, starting to get a little green. Oh, Green Valley. Valley. That's what you get reminded. There's parts of Chavez County that are mountainous and green, and you forget that. Take the trip to Cloudcroft. You get reminded. There's parts of Chavez County that aren't brown and dirt.
Yeah, Penasco Valley is a pretty valley.
Absolutely, yeah. You go up there by Mayhill and all that beautiful area.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. For folks not familiar, Matt joins us each month, and he is an attorney, hence Bristol Office. That's why his name's on the thing, and he's a lawyer, and that's that part there. But Matt gives us, really sage legal advice when it comes to family law, when it comes to financial planning, even business law. If you're wanting to set up a small business, we'll devote times on legally. You may know how to sell your widget, but do you know how to run the business and how to protect it legally and from financial suits, lawsuits to just make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's to keep you from getting sued and everything else. So.
Yeah, we try to do, we provide a little bit of everything, and so, which is helpful because then we learn a little bit of everything.
Absolutely. And you don't want to learn the hard way, which is usually you make the mistake and then have to reap the repercussions of said mistake.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of us learn. We're trying to, avoid that step.
Yeah. So a lot cheaper to ask me ahead of time than try to fix things after they've gone sideways.
That is very true. That's just everything in life, not just in the legal world.
It's especially true with like second marriages because I see a lot of times where people they don't want to make a will because if you talk about dying, then you die, so they never get around to estate planning or doing anything to prepare for when they're not here anymore.
Sure. It's the ostrich syndrome.
It is.
Yeah.
And then it's especially tough when there's a second marriage.
Yeah, and especially if there's kids from the first marriage, and that's when things get that web gets pretty tangled if you don't stay on top of it here.
Well, yeah, and then even if a spouse is fine with the stepchildren, do the other stepchildren get along with the other stepchildren? Sure. So the next generation can get pretty messy sometimes.
Well, and I just like for instance, and I'm not saying how the relations or anything to this, but I'm aware of a story where a woman, her husband died, met another man, remarried. This man was second marriage as well, with a divorcee, and kids and things. He was pretty well established, had his own property, had retired from his job, and had a nice little patch of land on a lake, and that kind of thing, living well. Well, he died, and basically the wife had to leave because the property was left to the kids, and so there was no caveat about she can live there as long as she's alive or none of that. And kids came in or like, nope, you got to get out. Go, this is ours. We want it. And she was left high and dry pretty much.
Yeah. That is not uncommon. The wife, if she had a home, she sells it and moves in with second husband. They live happily for 15, 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But he probably often doesn't tell the wife, oh, by the way, I'm leaving the house to the kids.
Yeah.
And that's
which is not a bad thing, but if you like love your first wife, maybe you set some up. It's like, they can't have it till you're done living in it or something like that, or whatever arrangement. But you need to make those arrangements, otherwise you might end up out in the cold because no planning was done or no conversation, at least with your people about it. So.
Yeah, there's no conversation. A lot of times the spouses, the surviving spouse, is kind of blindsided. Yeah. And leaves, maybe the husband should have made some kind of monetary compensation for her to get a new house.
And I get it. It's a difficult conversation to have, especially if you come from the perspective of the spouse, because you don't want to look like you're gold digging or whatever. I mean, it's a slippery slope you want to bring, because no one wants to talk about death. But then it's like, hey, when you die, what do I get? What do your kids get? I know that's a very, I don't have the cojones to walk in a room and do that, I don't know, some people may, but that's a slippery slope you got to broach there.
It is. It's a difficult conversation. I had a lady come in one time, and second marriage and 20, 25 years, and husband was getting ill. He's becoming ill, and she's taking a lot of time taking care of him. And so she was having the conversation of, what is your estate plan and what's going on here? And naturally he says, well, I want to take care of my children and blah, blah, blah. And, well, okay, to what extent are you taking care of your children? And husband says, well, they get everything. And the wife is like, okay, so I'm changing your diapers and you're leaving me zip?
Right? It's like, what, why?
Am I chopped liver or, what's the deal here?
Yeah.
And so she was real tempted just to bug out.
Sure.
And I couldn't blame her. I didn't give her that advice.
Right.
It's just up to her. But
well, that's where, love's a powerful thing, because I think if the love's not there, you're out. At that point, it's like, why am I doing this? Yeah. Going this emotional roller coaster. At the end of the day, I'm going to be bags packing high and dry.
Yes. Yeah. So, so many times, a husband comes in and says, well, my wife passed. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. And, well, we lived in her house that she had pre-marriage. I said, okay. And was it paid off before you got married? Because that's a big question right there. And it was paid off before we got married. It's okay.
Yeah, because in theory, if y'all paid it off while you were married, then you have a stake in that house.
That's right.
Because you paid into it.
The community money paid it off. The community has an interest in that house.
Then it's another ball game here.
Yeah. So he says, well, it was paid off pre-marriage, and she never put me on the deed. And now the kids are trying to kick me out.
Well, guess what?
Well, yeah. So
your kids are going to win.
Essentially, so if my wife passes without a will, 3/4 of her sole and separate property go to her children, 1/4 to the surviving spouse. So now the kids have a 3/4 interest in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they're either going to force a sale or a buyout. But now
and that probably varies from state to state. Like that may work here in New Mexico, but you go say to Texas, they may not apply that way.
Don't know how they do it over there.
And so that's where you got to pay attention on some of that, because each state the rules are different on that. Community property states versus non, and the rules that do apply with none of that. And New Mexico is kind of a more unique state in some of those legal proceedings than other states.
There are only 8 community property states in the country. So if you move to a different state, and even those community property laws vary a little bit, so some subtleties. So you always, if you're going to move somewhere, contact a legal professional and see what the laws are.
Sure.
But that surviving spouse now is in the home for the last 20 years. And the kids from the previous marriage are saying, well, we're 3/4 owners, and since we're owners, we get to live there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. So now the surviving husband's living on Social Security, and his wife passed, so her Social Security check just went away, and now he's going to buy out 3/4 of the house.
Yeah. And the sad part is, all these situations, like you said, could be easily avoided. But 9 times out of 10, people just thought, oh, it's my son, it's my daughter, it's this.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
And we all think that until you actually get there. And when the people die and then the money actually starts being talked about here, people change. People get weird. People get different.
Big time.
And I wish all of us were evolved or enlightened enough to be on the high road, but temptation tempts. And then there's a lot of temptation there.
So interesting thing was husband and wife divorced, and wife had a 401k. And of course, during the marriage, she named husband as beneficiary. Mm-hmm. And post-divorce just never gets around to changing it. So that was a problem, especially if she remarried, had a second spouse. And so the legislature came up with this. Well, if there's a divorce, then Nick's on the beneficiary status. If there's a divorce, all that stuff goes away. It's no longer valid because they got divorced. Mm-hmm. So that kind of makes a little sense. So present day, wife never changes the 401k. She gets remarries, second husband, wife passes. So now second husband says, wait a minute. First husband's the beneficiary on the 401, except there's a state law that says that goes away upon divorce.
So
the problem is there's a federal act from 1972, I think.
Okay.
So when
it's kind of getting into like cannabis laws, like, well, your state says one thing, but the Fed's got a different idea.
And then once the Feds speak on a subject, the what's called federal preemption.
Yeah.
And once the Feds say we're going to take jurisdiction of the subject matter, they have exclusive jurisdiction.
Gotcha.
And that federal law says whatever the beneficiary is on the 401 stays.
So the moral of the story is
first time
update and change your stuff to the way you want it, because it may not end up that way. And it most certainly probably won't if you don't do it yourself.
Promptly upon divorce, change those beneficiaries, because in that case, husband one's getting it all.
And the longer you wait, the more unlikely you're going to not do it. And that's, you know what I mean? That's
inertia is a powerful force.
Yeah, while it's fresh, while you're thinking of those things, and while the fire's hot, so to speak, you get it done. And because once time cools off, you forget. And then, unfortunately, the unforeseen tragedy happens, and now you're left holding the bag on this one. So
so we need to update all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big talk to have about the husband and wife, second marriage, what's going to get left to the kids, what's going to get left to the surviving spouse, how much does the surviving spouse need? That's a huge talk. You need to have it. You need to put it in writing because I promise stuff just doesn't
Absolutely,
work.
but have the conversation with the family members before. I mean, obviously, before you go in and start adjusting wills and everything. I mean, obviously, the healthy, mature, and most beneficial thing is, you talk with the spouse, talk about what you want to do, and then you talk with the kids and say, look, if I were to drop dead tomorrow, this is what I want to happen. And, you guys will get the house, but I want this. I want my wife to live there, and as long as she wants to, and she can stay there. And if she decides to leave tomorrow, then bequeath, boom, it's yours. If she's there for another 20 years, whatever, you got to have that conversation. That's trust me, if you do that, have the arguments then, it'll save life so much better when after you pass, and just might keep your family being a family. Just saying, you might be doing the Lord's work in keeping your family together after you're gone.
And I advise my folks, even if it's their first marriage, they're still married, they have adult children, and so I always suggest is that you tell all the kids what's going on with your estate plan, and you tell them all at the same time, if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, but everybody's in the same room, so everybody hears the same thing all at once, and they avoids this, well, that's not what Dad told me, and, well, Dad said I was going to have that, Chevy truck, and...
And then, for the love of God, don't play your kids like that either. You know what I mean? Like, if you do that, like, pull them aside, no, you can have the gun, and then later promise it to someone else, then you're stirring that pot. You need to have a backbone and pick one and quit wishy-washing on these people. But you're right. But because I believe sometimes that actually happens. I think there was promised to 3 people because the person who didn't make a will in the first place didn't have the backbone to tell anybody no.
Well, that's part. I've seen a lot of mommies do that with their children. They just can't say no, so that creates a problem. I often suggest that, okay, well, while you're alive, why don't you give that Chevy truck to whoever you want to have it, or that firearm to whoever you want to have it, because now it's going to end up where you want it to end up.
And the way I look at it is you look at it as like the passing of the baton, so to speak. It's like, I leave you my pickup. You baby it like to change the oil every time on this here. This is how you change. You know what I mean? That's what you do. I'm leaving you my gun. You clean it everything here. It's this. I'm leaving you the house. I do that. That's you almost present it and change it to, and that's really do it. That's not a bad idea. Do it while they're still alive if you can. I mean, if you still need it.
Make it a birthday present or a Christmas present, and you get to see the smile on their face. You get to see them enjoy it.
And hopefully don't wrap it around a tree before you die.
Or give it to the grandkid who wraps it around the tree.
Then you can get angry. You have a right to get angry if they do that. But yes, that. But it's a great idea. Leave it to them. The heirloom thing, whatever it is, to them while they're alive. That way, you know where it's going, and you don't create animosity, jealousy, or whatever.
Especially
after you leave.
In a second marriage, if you want your kids to have certain family items, be sure and give it away while they're alive, because otherwise, it gets messy. Because I've had instances where, husband passes away, adult children from first marriage say, well, we want Dad's firearms. And the wife says, well, we've been married 28 years. He bought them all after we got married.
Well, I think a lot of people, I think this is where TV and movies have kind of messed us up a little bit. Whereas, it's not as bad in this day and age because you don't see it as often in TV and movies, but it seems to me, I remember growing up, anytime somebody died, there was a reading of the will, you know what I mean? And I bequeath this to you, and I bequeath that to you. And I think it got many people thinking, like, that's how they need to create wills. Like, every earthly possession I own, I need to find out who to give it to. And it doesn't work that way. To be honest, it should be kind of generic in terms of, the property, the big things, the house, the car, the finances, the liabilities, who goes what to where on that. When in terms of getting the pearl necklace that Grandma Jones had to this, to that, to there, and all, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Don't put that in a will. Give it to whoever you intend to
while you're alive.
While you're alive. That don't. I know it's fun for a TV show to put everyone in a room and I leave my stamp collection to little Louie. But that's not how life is. It really isn't like that.
Well, the problem we run into is, so in the will, I mean, you can designate personal property goes to whoever.
Sure.
And so if the, the pearl necklace goes to the granddaughter, and so the next question is, well, where's the pearl necklace?
Right.
And then the surviving spouse says, I don't know what he's talking about. And
then the wife or someone else said, I don't know, he lost it years ago.
Yeah. I mean, where is it?
Yeah. And now it's sitting in someone's jewelry closet somewhere, hiding it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you never know.
Yeah.
So if you give it away while you're alive,
it just turns up all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah.
So avoid all that nonsense.
Oh yes. Yeah. So we had I had a case where a gentleman passes away. And so his ex-wife says, well, where's all his jewelry? He had these gold Rolex watches, and they disappeared, and it's all this lady's fault. It's the personal representative's fault because she must have stolen it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, so lady, ex-wife, this gentleman was, ill. Everybody knew he was passing away, and it took some time. And did you ever have like a family gathering to say, gee, we're all going to miss you? And did you take pictures?
Mm-hmm.
And are there watches in the pictures? You mean you didn't have a goodbye party? There was no gathering. There's no pictures of, we're going to miss you. No pictures. But that personal representative lady, she must have stolen the watches. So, okay, ex-wife. So didn't you also help him on a regular basis? Oh, yeah. You helped clean the house? Oh, yeah. How often? Oh, 3-4 times a week. Oh, you had your own key? Yep. Oh, you had access to the house.
Columbo solves the case.
Hello. So you never know who's going to be taking things from the house.
You never know. Absolutely. Yeah.
Give it away while you're alive.
Absolutely. You're right. And I hear stories in the past, into times where like people living in living assisted facilities, and they've had some of their jewelry and stuff in there, and they want to go saving it for their granddaughter, great granddaughter, whatever. And yeah, that kind of stuff, staff things. I mean, it's a common world. Yep. It did spawn a question that this is one of those weird what if ones that I just gee whiz. What do you do in this situation? Say for instance, you do that situation where you leave, your prized watch or piece of jewelry to whatever relative. Say you put that in the will and you tell them, in your will, when I die, this watch is going to you. And say for whatever reason, the watch breaks before you die and the watch is no longer good. But you never pull it out the will, and then you drop dead. And then the person comes looking for their watch and they said it's broke, but they were promised it. Is there a lawsuit there? Could that person in theory, because say they broke the watch and it's no good no more, so nothing to bequeath, but they died before they could pull it out of the will saying that you get the watch. So now now this person's died it's a raw and rude thing to do, but in theory, could the person that was supposed to get the watch have a case against the estate saying, well, you promised me a watch, the watch is broke, I should get some monetary value for that? Is that a case?
In a larger sense, yeah. So for example, if it's a broken watch, you go, here's your broken watch,
sure.
Mike, good luck. But let's say what often instead happens is I give Mike my Chevy Malibu 67 mint condition worth $60,000. And then, so that's in the will.
Mm-hmm.
And then while I'm alive, I sell it or I give it to somebody else. And 10 years later, I pass away and my will says Mike gets the Chevy Malibu.
Mm-hmm.
And where is it? And so at that point, Mike could come in and say, well, if the will says I get, and if it's not there, I want the monetary equivalent. So you could push the issue, yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't know if that was, could you actually win that case in court if you tried to pursue that?
Yeah, most likely. So when I make a will, if the vehicles are mentioned,
sure,
then I always put, and the Chevy Malibu to Mike if I own it at the time of my death.
I just didn't know if it was, maybe you could make an argument that it's considered a gift and there's no law saying you have to give a gift to anybody. You can give it or not give it. It's your prerogative. So I didn't know if maybe you could fight it that way or something.
Well, once you die, then the will kicks
Then-
in, and it says Mike gets the Malibu. And
Gotcha.
So if there's no Malibu, Mike's going to want the monetary equivalent.
Gotcha.
So I always put if I own it at the time I die.
Now, I would imagine if you're a close family and everything, you was like, no, that thing went over a cliff years ago. I'm not going to get the thing for it, and I'm not going to fight or pursue it.
Well, if people are cool, calm, and collected,
And that's really if your family's in good communication, then that's what's going to happen. But
Mhm.
I imagine there's instances where I haven't talked to Grandpa in years, but he promised me that watch, or whatever it was, and something like that goes.
Oh yeah, we get that all the time. They hadn't seen second marriage, except the adult children don't like the second wife, so they hadn't seen Dad actually in 15 years. No Thanksgiving, no Christmas, no birthday. 15 years.
Drops dead, and they
Dad
turn
dies,
up all of a sudden.
and they turn up. And they go, well, I want Dad's this, and I want Dad's that, and Dad was Dad's favorite, and it's like, well,
He may have been 30 years ago, but where have you been lately?
yeah,
And
it happens. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's something we forget about. And this is me in my own personal life, as I'm kind of going through different phases of life, going from young days to now starting to settle into older days and things like that. But it starts to make me realize that your life is a series of little lives. What you did in your 20s versus what you do in your 40s are completely different lives, and the people you surround yourself with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just it's a different world you live in, and it's hard to quantify that sometimes when you have to put it pen to paper and say what is the value of that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do. So this is why these wills have to. That's why advice. What should go in a will? What shouldn't? This is why you need to talk to someone like Matt. And sure you can go online and fill in the blank wills and all that, but that doesn't tell you. It won't help you to try to explain what the intent of what you're trying to do with your possession.
Right.
Whereas the fill in the blank thing, it's plug and paste, and then it goes. There's no flexible leeway. It's all cookie cutter. It's all I guess if your life is that way, then it works pretty well. But most of us aren't like that. And so, but if you're wanting to know, like, hey, if I want to leave this to my son, what's the best way to do that? And that's when you talk to Matt. Matt will tell you, well, give it to him before you die, or well, they're only 6. Okay, hold on to it. Into an age that they're responsible enough, do you think they'll give it to it? Then give it to them. But that's the kind of stuff you talk to an attorney about. Is like, here's the actual life advice that goes with the legal advice.
Oh yeah, and you were asking the Malibu thing.
Yeah.
So my grandfather's will, he left certain cash bequests to certain people, and then me and my siblings got the real estate. Okay, and that was the order in which the will was written: cash distributions to 5 people. And then we get real estate. Well, fortunately, there was enough cash in the bank to pay those people.
Okay.
But if there had not been enough cash, in the distribution order, they came before the real estate. So if there was no cash, they would say, sell the real estate and give us our cash.
Sure. So you got it pending the bills got paid, basically.
Yeah, so it should have been written in reverse.
Yeah.
These kids get the real estate, and then if there's money left over, the
Pay
following
your
cash,
creditors and all that.
following cash bequests.
Sure. And again, something to talk to the attorney about. It's
Hello.
Like whose future do you want to protect? Your creditors or your families?
Yeah. So words are important, and how you use them are important.
And I will tell you this: if you leave it to other people's choices, they're going to ensure your creditor's future, not your family's. So that's why you need to have a will. You need to actually talk to an attorney, sit down and do it, and you need to constantly update it and change it, and modify it as moments in life change and happen in life. You have a child, you need to change the will. You get divorced, you need to change the will.
Absolutely.
You get married, you need to change the will.
Yep.
If you know what, if you have a windfall in your life, you hit the lottery, someone dies and bequeaths you money, you need to change your will.
need to look that stuff up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fix it before it goes wrong.
Yes, this is the stuff you need to talk about.
Yeah.
And the time to do it is when it's fresh in your mind and thinking about it, and like in past conversations, Matt and I have talked about, like, right around the holidays when family gets together, it's always that's a good time of year to maybe have the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
If I die, go to this cabinet and everything's here. Or if I die, call this person and talk to them. They've got all my, whatever that plan is, it's time. But this is kind of the same way when it comes to will planning. As those moments in life happen, maybe it's to plan that thing, at least with your spouse or who your real immediate circle there.
Yeah.
To have that planned that way.
Especially if your inheritance or your giving is not being equally divided among the children.
Sure, absolutely.
So maybe you've helped one child out their whole life, so you don't leave them as much. Or maybe one child's exceptionally wealthy, and so you're going to give the money to the other children because you think they need it. So if it's not going to be divided evenly, that conversation needs to be made ahead of time.
Sure. And generally when those reasons are, it's because of family reasons. Like, well, Sue's good at this, but Johnny's not so good, sir. We're going to help Johnny this way and help Sue this way.
Yeah.
And so that's why those conversations are important, because I'm sure your parents love you all equally. They just want to give you the best, advantage to what they think you need at that time. And so that's what those conversations are about. And granted, it's hard after the will when your parents thought you needed something different than what you thought you needed.
Yeah. I needed a lot more money than that.
and then it creates that animosity with the next day you're ticked off at your sibling for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've created that. So please, yes, put everybody in loop, put everybody on the table, have those conversations, avoid the fight for after when you're gone, because and trust me. This is no different than when you're when your kids are in school. It's like, oh, my kid's the angel. No, your kid's not the angel. Your kid's just like the rest.
Yeah.
Same thing here. My family would never do that until they do.
That's right.
You got to protect yourself and your family. And your family from this. You're protecting your family as much as you're protecting yourself from these headaches.
Yeah, even if the first generation gets along, usually the second generation won't. So
yes, and let's face it. I would imagine when you deal with generational wealth, your Trumpses and your Vanderbiltses and all these folks, as the generations change and the people that maybe necessarily blood, sweat, and tears weren't making that money, there's a lesser appreciation for the value of it, and so you tend to have to.
Even a second marriage situation, even if the wife is getting along with the stepchildren, the husband and wife both pass away, the stepchildren aren't going to get along with each other.
Sure.
And so that's why stuff needs to be either given away while you're alive or clearly written instructions. Handle it in writing. Don't just roll the dice and let if you don't have an estate plan, the state has one for you. And let's not go there because no one's going to be happy about that.
Sure. And then please don't forget too, anytime you're making changes or additions or subtractions to your will and stuff, go talk to the attorney. You can't just whip up your phone and do videos and do things, little caveat things and say, I bequeath this, because none of that will hold up in court. None of that is considered legal documentation of your wishes.
Handwritten changes don't count, folks.
Yeah, you gotta. If you have the will and you need to change it, you need to go back to the lawyer and
get a new one.
Get it redone and re-notarized and re-bequeathed and all that good stuff. So, anytime, and then probably burn that old one when the new one's done.
Yeah, the old one should always be destroyed. Now your list of who gets what personal property, that you can change as long as you sign it and date it. That doesn't have to be notarized. That is something you can change at home.
Something a little simpler like that, where you don't have to throw the baby without the bathwater, so to speak. You just make a simple change.
Yeah, you just make simple changes anytime you want. And just sign it and date it. But as far as the will itself, handwritten notations, changes, that just doesn't cut it. Won't work. Nope. As far as we know, somebody else may have done that.
At-home matlocking don't count a lot of times on that. You may be able to pull that off in the DIY. You may be able to fix your own kitchen cabinets, but when it comes to the legal stuff, DIY legal is not the best.
Yeah, get some competent legal advice, and just so you know, it's peace of mind that you did it right.
Absolutely. And I know a guy you might want to call here. Matt Bristol could definitely take care of it. Of course, if you go to his website, bristolllawoffice.com, you can .net. I'm sorry, he changed it. I keep forgetting. You can go there, set up for a free consultation. We'll sit down and chit-chat with you and say, you know what? This is a case. We need something. Or you know what? Go to the DMV and go fill out this form and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, we could set that conversation up and then and go from there. Matt, when it comes to family law, business law, you don't really do criminal law so much, but the
no criminal
financial side of law, pretty much all those worlds Matt's got a foot in it.
Yes,
so.
call us at 625-5284.
Yeah.
And we can set up an appointment. And if it's something we don't handle, I will tell you we don't do that because, I don't want to screw stuff up.
Sure. Well, and it's, law's a big thing. In case you haven't know, that's why people spend a lot of time going to school and a lot of money to learn it. But there's so many different caveats of law, and you could really spend your whole world in one area of law and be completely oblivious to the other area of law, because it just doesn't work the same. You know?
Yeah, I was talking to one of the judges the other day, and he said he was getting to have a lot of respect for family law attorneys. And I'm like, okay, well, why is that? And he says, because you have to know so many other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to kind of foot in everybody's world because it's family, and where there's family, it's messy. It's just
you got to split up assets. You have to know how the 401k trick thing works and pensions.
Oh, by the way, if there's restraining orders and those things, you got to be. So there's a little criminal. There's a little bit of everything.
Separate property, community property, and die intestate. Or there's just so many more things you have to know. I had a case where there was a business.
Mm-hmm.
Husband had a business and pre-marriage, but he spent 40 years of the marriage in the business. So. Divorce and wife wants half the business. It's like, it's community property. So we had the accountant run out the balance sheet.
Okay.
And said, here's the balance sheet of the assets. And so this is it. And we'll give her half. How do you want to pay? Can we pay it out over time kind of thing? So the wife's attorney says, we'll take a payout over time. Well, the thing is on the balance sheet, what the other attorney didn't realize is that those are depreciated values. So, but I knew it because of my experience.
Sure.
So we kind of got away with a little bit there, but that's what the judge meant is you got to know a little bit of a whole lot.
Sure, you're right. And again, it's we're experience, and and that's not toot Matt's horn here. This is where sometimes when you have a lawyer that's been in the room, and knows these things, will help you out when those types of because it always happens. It's just every time there's a court case and there's a little thing, there's always one caveat or one something here or there. And when you have a lawyer that's very well versed in that stuff, it sure makes it a lot easier.
We do our
when
best.
Those surprises do pop up from time to time.
We do our best.
But bristoloffice.net, definitely check it out or give them a call.
Please
come by here. We have about a minute or two if you got time for a little fact or fiction here.
Oh yeah, so this. Root words. I like, root words. Where do words come from? So Mike gets up in the morning and Sunday, so he's going to go out and get the paper. And there's this thing in the front yard.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, what is this thing? It just suddenly appeared. And so you're wondering, what is this thing? So what we all do is we kind of walk around it trying to figure out what's this thing, Walk over here, look at it, and walk over here and look at it. So when a person who walks is a pedestrian.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you walk around it, you encircle it.
Okay.
Or another word for circle is cycle, the cycle of life.
Okay.
So you encircle this thing as a pedestrian. You are an encyclopedia.
Oh, looking for knowledge here. So that's where the brute words of encyclopedia come
That's
from.
where the word encyclopedia means is walking around on your feet trying to figure out what the heck this thing is in my front yard. You just walk around on your feet.
That is neat.
That's just wild to me.
That is neat.
Where do they come up with that stuff? Yeah.
It's almost like to me that's one of those moments where people look at a globe for the first time and finally realize, wait a minute. If you look at the Atlantic Ocean and Africa and in North America and Europe, and they kind of and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like a puzzle. They fit together. Yeah. That's almost like one of those moments when people are putting it together, like, oh, okay, there's a reason why things are this and why it's put here in this place. And so yes, definitely.
I just think that's an interesting how they came up with that stuff.
Yeah,
anyway.
I do too. It's evolution, Yeah. It always makes me think. I was thinking about that the other day, and I really don't have time to go into this, but it was just like. I wonder, words that we look as slang and seem I wonder if there's words that we take now as the official word for it, but its root words were some slangy word that, if you talked to people of the origin on which this word came from, they would not think of it the same way we talk about it today.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what I mean?
When you look at
we think we're talking very educated, and if you would have been, they'd be like, what a gutter mouth on that guy. You know what I mean? That's
I'm sure that's the case. Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we write and we abbreviate pound, it's LB.
Yes.
Where'd that come from?
You know, I never thought about it. I feel it's an English thing, but I don't know.
Well, Latin for book is libro, and so they were heavy.
Oh, there you go.
And so LB.
So it was a good measuring source.
Yeah.
How many books you weigh?
Yeah.
How many libras you weigh?
Who decided that?
Which kind of makes sense when they do, in weight and stone in Europe,
English,
it's stone. Because literally some guy was putting stones on there. How many stones it take you equal 7 stone there?
Yeah.
Whatever that number is. So pretty interesting.
Goofy stuff.
Well, thank you, Matt, as always.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Happy anniversary.
Well, thank you, and we'll see you next time here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You too.
All right, it's 8 o'clock. Look at that. I like when it ends right perfectly. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND.
Dow had 449 points. The Nasdaq Composite adding